Hey guys, tonight we begin before 1776. Before the hum of cities, before the electric glow of lamps, there was a quieter world, slow as the tide and still as the morning dew. The air smelled of earth and pine. The rivers spoke softly to the shore. In the distance, smoke curled faintly from a cabin roof, a sign that someone had already stirred awake. It's the mid-1700s, and the colonies are only beginning to breathe. Wooden houses lean gently along quiet clearings. Chickens wander between roots. A well rope creaks as cool water is drawn from the ground. Life moves at the rhythm of sunlight. There is no hurry, no rushing clock to catch, just the slow mingling of voices, the grazing of livestock, and the smell of freshly split wood in the air. Along the coast, the sea hums quietly, carrying wooden ships that drift at anchor, their sails folded like resting wings. The land stretches endlessly inland, forests, meadows, and streams glinting between trees. Time feels slower here, almost like it's sleeping too. In towns, wooden wheels rattle softly over loose stones. The scent of bread spills from small bakeries, and modest shops open with a creak of hinges. Even the noise feels gentle, handmade and human. At home, a single room glows with the warmth of firelight. Families gather near the hearth, a mother kneading dough, a father reading by faint candle, their children tracing patterns in the ash. Simple, patient moments. Outside their door, crickets sing through tall grass. The wind brushes the trees, whispering ancient stories the settlers barely understand. Yet in that quiet, they feel safe, surrounded by untouched land and endless night sky. Candles flicker in windows, marking each home like a tiny star on the earthly map. The colony, small and fragile, breathes peacefully under the moon. Each life, though simple, carries wonder. The taste of warm bread, the comfort of soft wool, the distant bell calling for Sunday service. These were the moments that built the world before history hurried on. The air grows cooler now. The mist thickens near the riverbanks. Settlers close shutters, listening to the rustle of trees outside before bedding down beneath quilts sewn by hand. Somewhere far off, a church bell rings just once. Then silence, deep and ancient. These early lives moved by touch, by faith, by patience, mostly unseen, yet deeply real. Every breath of theirs shaped the dawn of a new chapter we're about to slip into. So, let's wander through their world now gently, quietly, as though stepping across dew-wet grass. Let the crackle of a distant fire guide us to another night, centuries ago, where time itself seems to whisper before 1776. But before we dive in, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It's a small gesture that truly helps the channel grow. And I'm always curious to know where in the world you're listening from, and at what time of night. When morning arrived in the colonies before 1776, it came without fanfare. The first settlers had been in the land for generations now, their wooden homes scattered across clearings carved from the endless forest. These were simple structures, usually 1 or 2 rooms, with heavy timber walls chinked with clay and moss to keep out the wind. Roofs were steeply pitched and thatched with straw or wooden shingles, split by hand from local oak or cedar trees. A stone chimney rose at one end, built low and wide to draw smoke upward without igniting the dry roof material above. The average colonial home measured about 16 by 20 feet, large enough for a family of 6 or 8, but rarely more. Inside, the main room served multiple purposes: kitchen, dining area, and gathering space all in one. A large open hearth took up much of one wall, where cooking happened year-round. Above it hung iron pots of various sizes, a long-handled frying pan called a spider, and a heavy bake kettle for making bread or stews. The floor was packed dirt covered with straw or rush mats that needed sweeping and replacing every few weeks. Sunrise found most families already stirring. The man of the house rose first, often while stars still showed through cracks in the shutters. He added wood to the embers on the hearth, watching as flames gradually strengthened. Breakfast was simple and practical. Cornmeal mush called hasty pudding boiled with milk or water, sometimes sweetened with molasses if the family had it. Children under 10 helped by fetching water from the well or stream. carrying it in wooden piggins or earthenware jugs that held about a quart each. Outside, the air carried scents particular to colonial mornings. Smoke from dozens of chimneys mingled with the sharp tang of wood smoke from nearby saw pits, where men squared logs for building. The ground stayed damp from dew until mid-morning, making unpaved paths between houses soft underfoot. Most homes stood 50 yards or more apart, giving each family privacy while keeping neighbors within calling distance. Fences of split rails surrounded dooryards, keeping pigs and chickens from wandering into the house gardens. Women began their morning chores immediately after breakfast. They swept the house thoroughly, using bundled corn husks tied to a stick as a broom. Then came milking if the family kept cows. 2 or 3 animals per household was typical in established settlements. The milk went into shallow pans set in the coolest part of the house to allow cream to rise for butter, making later. Chickens scratched nearby, laying eggs gathered twice daily into nests lined with straw or feathers. Further from the house lay the kitchen garden, never larger than half an acre. Here grew cabbages, onions, leeks, carrots, turnips, peas, beans, and pumpkins, the foundation of colonial diet. Herbs like sage, thyme, parsley, dill, and fennel filled one corner, their leaves dried for winter use. Women planted by the moon's phases, sowing above-ground crops when the moon waxed and root vegetables when it waned. Every family kept apple trees if possible. Cider provided safe drink year-round, since well water sometimes carried sickness. Men turned to field work as light strengthened. Most farmers owned between 50 and 200 acres, though they cultivated only 10 to 20 acres annually. Corn dominated, each kernel planted individually in hills spaced 4 feet apart, with fish heads or manure buried beneath as fertilizer. Between corn hills grew pole beans that climbed the stalks, plus squash or pumpkins sprawling across the ground. This Three Sisters method came from native neighbors and yielded far more than European farming alone. Tools remained simple and handmade. The most important was the heavy iron hoe weighing 5 pounds, swung with both hands to break soil clods and kill weeds. No wheel plow existed for most small farms. Men used a team of oxen pulling a wooden moldboard plow sharpened with a whetstone each evening. Felling trees required double-bit axes weighing 6 pounds, swung in smooth arcs that bit 12 inches deep per stroke. A good axeman felled a 20-inch oak in under 30 minutes. By mid-morning, women prepared the main meal over open coals. Dinner came early, around noon, and consisted of boiled or stewed vegetables with salt pork or bacon if available. Fresh meat proved scarce, except during harvest, when hunting provided venison or wild fowl. Most protein came from cheese, eggs, or fish caught from local streams. Pottage, a thick stew of vegetables, grains, and scraps, simmered all day in the bake kettle, gaining flavor as ingredients softened. Children worked alongside adults from age 5. Boys carried water, gathered eggs, or drove cows to pasture along woodland paths. Girls learned spinning by winding wool onto distaffs, or carded flax fibers pulled through hand combs. Schooling waited until chores finished. Most children attended dame schools run by neighboring widows, learning ABCs from hornbooks, wooden paddles with printed letters protected by thin horn sheets. Afternoons brought steady labor. Men repaired tools, sharpened blades, or split rails for fences. Women spun thread on great wheels standing 5 feet tall, walking back and forth to draw out fibers while the spindle turned. A skilled spinner produced 2 pounds of linen thread weekly, enough for 1 shirt. Candle making happened in autumn using bayberry wax or tallow rendered from beef fat, each dip candle burning 4 hours. As evening approached, the rhythm slowed. Families gathered outdoors when weather allowed, sitting on split log benches to watch sunset paint the sky. Supper repeated dinner foods, cold or reheated. After dishes washed in wooden tubs with soft soap made from wood ashes and animal fat. The family read from the Bible by fading light. Bedtime came early, 8 or 9 o'clock, since candles cost dearly at 2 shillings per pound. Windows held no glass for most. Oiled paper or animal membranes let in dim light while blocking wind. Beds consisted of rope webbing supporting a straw tick mattress stuffed yearly. Feather beds belonged only to wealthier families. Most covered themselves with 2 or 3 blankets, plus a bearskin or quilt. The house grew dark and quiet, holding the sounds of sleeping breath and embers settling in the hearth. This daily pattern repeated through the year with seasonal variations. Spring brought planting fever. Fields turned, seeds dropped one by one. Summer meant weeding, haying, and sheep shearing. Autumn rushed with harvest, corn husked by hand at husking bees, where neighbors helped for food and fiddle music. Winter slowed everything to mending, woodworking, and storytelling by firelight. The colonial day measured success not by hours worked, but by visible progress. Fence rails stacked, garden rows straight, kettles filled. Neighbors exchanged labor freely. Knowing isolation meant hardship. A man helped build his brother's barn knowing his own would rise next spring. Women gathered for quilting bees, their needles flashing through stretched fabric, while talk flowed soft as creek water. No newspapers reached most homes weekly. News traveled by word of mouth from passing traders or Sunday meetings. The almanac provided planting dates, weather lore, and medical remedies. Mustard plaster for chest colds, chamomile tea for upset stomachs. Doctoring stayed simple. Bloodletting jars and herbal poultices treated most ills. Through it all ran gratitude for sufficiency. Colonial families consumed what they produced. No waste, no excess. A good year yielded 200 bushels of corn from 5 acres, enough to feed 10 people with seed for next planting. Pork barreled and brine lasted 2 years. Apple cider fermented safely through summer heat. Night fully claimed the land now. Frogs chorused from nearby marshes. Owls called from deep woods. Inside the cottage, the last candle snuffed, leaving only fire glow on sleeping faces. Tomorrow would mirror today, steady, sufficient, unhurried. The colonies breathed easy in their youth, their people shaped by the same patient land that cradled them through another quiet night. Building a home in colonial America started with the land itself, chosen carefully for good drainage, southern exposure, and access to fresh water. Settlers avoided low swamps where fever lingered and steep hills where erosion washed away topsoil. A typical site measured 1 acre, cleared by girdling, cutting bark rings around trees to kill them slowly while letting light reach the ground for crops. Full felling waited until the house stood secure. The frame came first, raised by neighbors in a single day called a house raising. Men felled straight oak or chestnut trees 12 to 18 inches thick, squared them with broad axes into timbers 16 feet long. These formed the skeleton, sills laid flat on stone piers, posts notched into place, plates connecting the top. No nails existed for most. Wooden pegs called trunnels drove through mortise and tenon joints swollen tight by rain. A good frame withstood hurricanes and snow loads for 2 centuries. Walls filled with horizontal logs or vertical clapboards. Log construction dominated frontiers. Trees peeled smooth, notched at corners and saddle or dovetail joints that shed water outward. Chinks between logs packed with clay, moss, or lime plaster hardened like cement. Clapboard homes used thin oak boards split with froe and mallet, overlapped like shingles starting 6 inches above ground to block splash-up mud. A skilled splitter produced 200 clapboards daily from 1 log. Roofs pitched steeply at 45 degrees to shed heavy snow and rain. Shingle split from white cedar or locust lasted 20 years untreated. Rafters spaced 2 feet apart supported sheathing boards nailed edge to edge, then covered corner to corner with shingles nailed in 5-inch exposure. Ridge boards capped the peak. No gutters existed. Rainwater poured straight to ground, soaking away from foundations. Windows remained small and few, averaging 6 panes of 8 by 10 inch glass imported expensively from England at 4 shillings per pane. Shutters of overlapping boards protected against wind, thieves, and winter storms. Wealthier homes added dormers, small gabled projections that brought light into cramped attics without stealing roof pitch. Doors hung on wooden hinges called pintles, locked with wooden latches lifted by string through a hole. Inside, the hearth formed the heart. Fieldstone foundations 8 feet wide supported massive back walls 15 feet high. The throat narrowed to a flue 8 inches wide at the chimney top, preventing sparks from escaping. Fireplaces consumed 1 cord of wood monthly in winter, 4 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet stacked tight. Andirons held logs forward. A cast iron crane swung heavy pots over coals for cooking. Cranes weighed 30 pounds, counterweight to swing smoothly. Floors started as packed earth covered by straw, but most upgraded to wide oak boards 1 inch thick by 12 inches wide, tongue and grooved or pegged tight. No underlayment existed. Cold seeped up in winter, relieved by layered rugs woven from rags or rush mats harvested green and dried flat. Staircases proved rare in 1-story homes, sleeping lofts accessed by ladder-safe space, while trapping warm air rising from the hearth below. Furnishings built functional and spare. The settle, a high-back bench with hinged seat lifting for storage, doubled as chest and extra bed. Tables made from single wide planks called boards rested on trestles for easy disassembly. Chairs used 3-legged stools or ladderbacks with rush seats rewoven yearly. Beds featured rope webbing stretched tight between side rails, sagging over time until retightened with a bed key turned like a winch. Kitchens equipped minimally but cleverly. Iron spiders, frying pans with 3 short legs, set directly on coals for corn cakes or johnny cakes. Bake kettles with tight lids buried in ashes baked beans overnight into Boston brown bread. Tin reflectors, shaped like half-barrels, focused hearth heat onto loaves or puddings. Wooden trenchers, thick in grain bowls, served food family style. Pewter spoons and 2-tined forks completed place settings. Cellars dug beneath houses stored roots through winter. Square pits 8 by 10 feet lined with stones and floored with gravel drained seepage water. Ladders accessed shelves holding barrels of salt pork. Wheels of cheese coated in wax. Crocks of pickled cabbage. And strings of dried apples. Temperatures stayed steady at 45 degrees. Perfect for long keeping without spoilage. Outbuildings completed the homestead. Barns measured 30 by 40 feet, housing oxen, cows, hayloft above, and corn crib on stilts against rats. Smokehouses 6 by 8 feet cured hams over green hickory for 6 weeks, yielding 20 pounds of meat per hog. Privy stood 10 feet from house. 2-holder seats above 8-foot pits filled yearly with lime. Hen houses protected chickens from foxes, while spring houses built over stream-fed pools chilled milk and butter year-round. Women whitewashed interiors annually with lime and water slurry, brightening dark timber walls. Floors scrubbed with lye water made from hardwood ashes leached through straw. Furniture rubbed with beeswax and turpentine polish shone softly. Curtains of homespun linen hung at windows, dyed with butternut hulls for warm tan or indigo for rare blue. Construction costs totaled £200 equivalent to 2 years' wages for skilled labor. Neighbors contributed sweat equity, receiving meals of cider, pork barbecue, and fiddle music in return. The new house stood complete by autumn, ready for its first winter, walls already weathering to silver gray patina. Specialized homes serve community needs. Meeting houses doubled as churches, combining high-backed pews with school desks. Mills powered by water wheels ground corn at 1 bushel per hour, charging $1.16 for toll. Taverns offered 10 beds upstairs above public room with sanded floor for dancing. Blacksmith shops glowed nightly, hammers shaping plowshares from wrought iron heated cherry red. Coastal homes adapted to tide and storm. Pilings elevated floors 10 feet above high water mark. Shuttered porches called piazzas caught every breeze. Brick salt works boiled seawater in iron pans, yielding 1 bushel salt per 100 gallons evaporated. Fishing stages dry cod on wooden flakes, each fish split and salted lasting 18 months at sea. Through rain, frost, and summer heat, these homes endured. Timber swelled tight in wet weather, shrank loose in dry spells. Settlers caulked cracks yearly. Roofs reshingled every 15 years. Hearths repointed every 5. Yet generation after generation raised families within the same walls, adding wings or lean-tos as prosperity allowed. Night fell over the new house. Smoke curled straight upward from the chimney. Inside, the family sat close, firelight painting shadows across fresh timber walls. The structure creaked softly, settling into the earth it sprang from. Tomorrow would bring small repairs, small improvements. But tonight the home stood perfect, simple, strong, sufficient for lives measured not in wealth, but in shelter from the storm. Colonial days followed a predictable rhythm tied closely to sunlight and seasons, with no clocks regulating time until the late 1700s. Dawn marked the start around 4:30 a.m. in summer. Later in winter, when darkness lingered past 7 o'clock, families rose together, men kindling fires, while women dressed children in woolen petticoats and leather breeches. Breakfast appeared quickly. Porridge boiled overnight, cold milk from yesterday's milking, bread toasted on fork held to coals. No coffee existed. Most drank cider diluted with water or herbal teas from sassafras bark and wintergreen leaves. Morning chores divided by gender and age with mechanical efficiency. Men checked fences first, repairing breaks where deer jumped through or pigs rooted under. They fed livestock from corn cribs. Oxen received 12 quarts daily. Cows 8 quarts plus hay cut with sickle and dried on tripods. Women fed chickens handfuls of corn kernels scattered on ground, collected eggs from nests averaging 5 per hen weekly. Children under 8 carried slop buckets to pig troughs or gathered kindling sticks no thicker than thumb. Fields claimed men from 6 a.m. Corn cultivation dominated time. Hills cultivated 3 times. First when corn reached knee height, second at waist height, third before tasseling. Hoes swung rhythmically, chopping weeds between plants spaced 4 feet apart. Women hoed kitchen gardens nearby. Thinning carrots pulled every other plant. Pinching back beans climbing poles lashed with hickory withes. Mid-morning break paused work for cider and johnny cakes carried in birch bark pails. Noon dinner gathered everyone home. The main meal featured pottage simmered since morning, cabbage, turnips, leeks, and salt pork layered in iron kettle with cornmeal thickening. Fresh cod or herring appeared twice weekly near coasts. Baked whole in coals after scaling with knife. Salted beef barreled and brine substituted inland, soaked overnight to draw out excess salt. Potatoes remained unknown until 1719. Squash and pumpkins filled that roll, boiled soft or baked under ashes into pies sweetened with maple syrup tapped from sugar maples. Afternoon labor continued steadily. Men mowed hay with scythes sharpened hourly on whetstones, spreading cut grass with wooden rakes to dry 3 days before stacking in small cocks. Sheep grazed fallow fields, bells tinkling softly as ewes followed lambs born in April. Women spun wool on Saxony wheels, imported rarely from England, or carded flax broken with hand-fluted boards, then hackled through iron combs, removing tow. Skilled fingers produced linen thread fine enough for shirts or heavy tow cloth for work aprons. Children integrated fully by age 10. Boys wielded small hoes cultivating corn edges, drove oxen using goad sticks prodding shoulders. Girls carried water pails balanced on shoulders using yoke, fetched firewood loads tied with basswood bark. Play occurred during rest. Boys tossed knucklebones from deer legs. Girls skipped rope braided from twisted hemp fibers. Marbles made from baked clay rolled across hard-packed dooryards. Supper mirrored dinner, but lighter. Noon leftovers reheated over coals, or fresh milk, with cornbread crumbled inside. Dishes washed in 3 wooden tubs. Hot soapy water from ashes leached through straw. Rinse water, then scalding rinse killing germs. Hands dried on long roller towels, pinned to wall, used communally until frayed. Evening gathered family near hearth for mending. Women darned socks using wooden eggs shaped to foot. Men whittled spoons from maple burls or notched barrel staves. Reading occupied literate families. The Bible appeared nightly. Chapters read slowly by tallow candle costing 1 penny apiece. Horn books taught children alphabet from printed paddles covered in horn sheets. Almanacs predicted weather, planting dates, and remedies. Sulfur burned in sick rooms drove fever. Elm bark tea soothed coughs. No novels existed. Ballads sung from memory told of Robin Hood or Fair Margaret. Sleep patterns split naturally. First sleep lasted 4 hours until midnight. Then families rose for hour of quiet. Chamberpot visits, adding hearth wood. Herbal tea sipped slowly. Second sleep followed until dawn chores called. This biphasic pattern matched candle costs and animal needs. Cows milked again near midnight during heavy lactation. Weekly rhythms, structured longer cycles. Monday washed clothes in lye tubs pounded with battledores. Hung on lilac bushes to dry. Tuesday ironed with heavy flat irons heated on hearth coals. Spit shined with beeswax. Wednesday baked bread. 40 loaves from 50 pounds flour kneaded in trough, proving undercloths before oven preheated with faggots. Thursday churned butter from cream set in pans. Wooden dasher worked up-down in tall churn until butterballs formed. Colonial towns averaged 200 families clustered around a central green or market square, with streets laid out in simple grids rarely exceeding 8 blocks. No sidewalks existed. Packed dirt roads 12 feet wide drained rainwater into ditches bordering properties. Wooden signs swung gently from iron rods above doorways, painted ordinary for inns, cordwainer for shoemakers, chandler for candle makers, letters faded by weather but repainted yearly. Buildings stood close together, gables facing streets to maximize lot space. Each lot 100 feet deep by 50 feet wide. The town center held the meeting house, usually white clapboard with square bell tower. Windows numbered 12 total, 6 per side, crowned by semicircular fanlights. Inside seated 150 on backless benches called forums. Men on one side, women opposite, children upstairs in gallery. Pulpit rose 10 feet on turned balusters, Bible open to psalms. No organ sounded, deacons lined out hymns, sang first line, congregation repeated. Sermons lasted 90 minutes twice Sunday, plus Thursday lecture. Passing the meeting house, the tavern appeared next door. 2 stories with sanded public room downstairs, 10 bedchambers above. Landlady poured cider at 3 pence pint, rum 6 pence gill, flip heated with loggerhead iron 6 pence bowl. Travelers slept 2 per row bed, with straw ticks changed weekly. Barroom hosted town meetings, elections, horse trading. Sherry cobbler mixed with nutmeg grated fresh. Syllabub whipped cream sweetened floating on cider. No women entered public room. They used private parlor. Nearby stood the blacksmith shop, open-sided shed glowing orange from forge. Smith pump bellows raising charcoal to white heat. Hammered plowshares from wrought iron bars heated 3 times. Horses shod at 2 shillings each. Shoes nailed tight, with 8 clinched nails. Anvils weighed 150 pounds. Swage blocks shaped bolt heads. Sparks flew steadily as apprentices pumped bellows rhythmically. Horses stamped waiting turns. The market house occupied green center. Open pavilion sheltering farmer stalls Wednesdays and Saturdays. Women sold butter stamped with wooden prints identifying owners. Eggs nested in straw quarts at 4 pence dozen. Cheese wheels coated paraffin yellow. Men offered cider 3 gallons bushel. Corn cakes wrapped hot in cloths. Smoked hams wrapped bacon fat. Scales weighed purchases exactly. No paper money circulated. Spanish silver pieces of 8 cut quarters or Spanish milled dollar standard. Shops lined Main Street eastward. The chandler dipped candles nightly. 60-pound kettle tallow, rendered from beef suet simmered 3 hours. Cotton wicks hung on frames, dipped 20 times, building half-inch thickness. Bayberry candles luxury, at 1 shilling pound burned clean sweet. Soap boiled same fat with lye from ashes. Cut bars stamped family crest. The cooper's shop smelled oak shavings. Barrels held 32 gallons, called hogsheads for pork brine. Smaller firkins, 8 gallons for butter. Hoops hammered tight, from white oak cleft thin. Staves beveled exact fitting swollen watertight, by water soak. Tight coopers earned 3 pounds weekly. Slack coopers made dry goods boxes charged half. Tools included crows for groove cutting, adds hollowing interiors smooth. Tailors worked upstairs above drapers selling Osnabu coarse linen 8 pence yard, Kersey woolen 12 pence yard. Women fitted bodices, laced corsets, 24 bones, whalebone stays. Skirts pleated falling straight, concealing hoops. Men wore knee breeches buckled silver, waistcoats embroidered silk thread. Buttons covered fabric or carved bone, rarely brass except military. Cordwainers repaired shoes downstairs. Leather lasted years, resold oxhide 3 times. Uppers lasted 10 years patched. Wooden last shaped right and left feet exactly. Alls punched stitching holes. Waxed linen thread sewn wax double. Pegged shoes used wooden pins hammered through sole. Hobnailed boots protected toes, iron studs. Women bought low quarters tied laces. Men high boots folded below knee. Printer's shop occupied corner lot. Wooden press imported England cost £50. Typecases held thousands individual letters, sorted compositors. Gazette printed weekly 8 pages quarto. Advertisements bottom half. Stray bay mare white hind foot reward 10 shillings. Books bound calfskin. New England primer sold 3 pence, teaching ABC's Bible verses. Ink mixed lampblack charcoal, soot boiled linseed oil. Town supported schoolmaster in clapboard building holding 30 pupils ages 5 to 14. Slates 1 penny apiece wrote chalk. Quill pens cut goose feathers sharpened daily. Spelling bees recited Noah Webster Dictionary. Ciphering practiced addition, carrying numbers columns. Girls learned sewing samplers alphabet cross-stitch. Boys parsed Latin Cicero sentences. Fees £1 10 term paid cordwood equivalent. Apothecary stocked 30 jars imported glass, holding rhubarb root, Peruvian bark, senna leaves, camphor gum. Balances weighed doses grains exactly. Mortars ground powders pestles. Laudanum opium tincture dose drops pain. Tartar emetic induced vomiting. Bleeding lancets sterilized alcohol. Cupping glasses heated creating vacuum drawing blood. Town constable patrolled nightly lantern swinging. Stock Center Green held drunks overnight. Jail one-room log walls barred windows, held 6 prisoners maximum. Fines collected church pewter plates Sunday offering. Watchman called hours drumbeat, past 9 o'clock good night. Women gathered quilting frames stretched parlor windows. 30 hands stitched sunburst pattern woolens backed muslin. Dyeing pots simmered butternut hulls brown, sumac berries red, indigo blue. Spinning bees gathered 8 wheels, clicking rhythmically producing 12 pounds yarn day. Town well center green bucket chain, endless rope drawn water, clear cold. Swinging doors, all creaked hinges, oiled mutton tallow yearly. Glass rare luxury, bullseye panes wavy imported panes, crown glass spun molten bubble flattened. Candles guttered windows, marking bedtime 8 o'clock. Market closed dusk, stalls folded canvas. Farmers loaded wagons, creaking homeward. Tavern filled fiddles playing soldier's joy. Dancers sand floor shuffling toes. Children chased fireflies, jars punched in lids. Stars emerged overhead unpolluted brilliant. Night settled peaceful. Meeting house bell tolled 9 slow strokes. Lanterns snuffed one by one. Town slept sound. Dogs quieted chains. Horses stables munching hay. Tomorrow market called again. Rhythm unbroken, gentle, constant lives woven street by street, home by home, year turning quietly into next. As daylight faded from colonial homes, families gathered inward toward the single source of warmth and light, the massive stone hearth that dominated one wall of every cottage. These fireplaces measured 6 feet wide by 4 feet high, built from field stones gathered from nearby pastures and mortared with clay dug from creek banks. The fireback, thick iron plate hammered from imported Swedish bars, reflected heat forward while protecting timber walls from scorching. Throats narrowed precisely to 8-inch flues drawing smoke upward through double brick chimneys, insulated with sand. Supper preparation began as shadows lengthened around 5 p.m. Women swung heavy iron cranes outward from wall brackets, positioning 3-legged spiders over glowing oak coals for frying salt pork slabs cut half-inch thick. Baked kettles buried rim deep in ashes baked Johnny cakes. Cornmeal batter poured hot from pewter pitchers yielding golden crusts. Pottage simmered since noon thickened perfectly. Cabbage shreds floating amid carrot chunks and barley grains softened 12 hours. Fresh milk warmed gently avoiding scald. Poured steaming into wooden noggins, holding half-pint servings. Children set trenchers, thick ingrained maple bowls hollowed adzes. Arranging 2-tined iron forks beside pewter spoons polished weakly with whiting powder. Men returned from fields carrying wooden pail milk still warm from evening milking, cream rising visibly as they walked homeward. Supper eaten family style from central dishes, portions taken neatly avoiding fingers in common bowls. Conversation stayed simple. Tomorrow's planting, neighbor's sick cow, almanac weather predictions. No newspapers reached most homes. News traveled trader to trader across 200 miles. After wooden trenchers scraped clean, washing commenced methodically. 3 nested oak tubs filled progressively. First hot lye water made leaching hardwood ashes through straw filters. Second clear rinse water carried 200 yards from spring. Third scalding water poured from copper kettle boiled dry. Linen dish rags cut from worn shifts scrubbed surfaces smooth. Hands dried on long roller towels pinned doorway. 18 feet fabric lasting 3 months communal use before resuing into diapers. Mending occupied next hour by tallow candlelight. 16 dip candles burning simultaneously in beta snuffers conserving wax strips. Women darned wool stockings using mushroom-shaped darning eggs, sliding foot-shaped inside holes. Woolen strands woven seamlessly matching weave direction. Men whittled utensils from green maple burls, spoons hollowed gouges. Rolling pins turned lathes foot-pedaled spinning would smooth. Needles threaded linen waxed beeswax glided silently through homespun fabrics, patched precisely square on square. Spinning wheels hummed steadily afterward. Great wheels stood 5 feet tall, while pinched distaffs spinning counterclockwise into singles yarn plied worsted fine knitting or weft cloth. Saxony wheels two-handed treadled flax hackled straight, drawing linen thread smooth shirting quality. Skilled spinners walked backward treadmill fashion, stretching fibers 12 feet per treadle, producing 2 pounds yarn daily enough 3 shirts. Children carded rolags, while combed handcards rolling fluffy cylinders fed distaffs rhythmically. Reading followed as hands tired. Family Bibles bound heavy calfskin open psalms nightly. Verses read slowly candles snuffed halfway, conserving wax. Horn books taught children alphabet from printed paddles, horn covered protecting ink from grubby fingers. Almanacs consulted planting dates. Corn sown new moon May, potatoes full moon June. New England primer recited, in Adam's fall we sinned all. First reading book printed Boston 1683, selling 3 pence copies. Games played quietly afterward. Fox and geese scratched chalkboards 15 holes. Pegs jump capturing opponents strategically. String games cat's cradle manipulated yarns. Complex patterns passed hand to hand. Marbles rolled clay-baked shooters, glass imported rarely winning keepsies. Checkers carved walnut squares, played slates, avoiding noise disturbing neighbors 50 yards distant. Bedtime ritual began 8 p.m. sharply matching sunset length year-round. Rope beds tightened keys, turning wooden wedges, stretching hemp strands taut, supporting straw ticks, shaken lumps redistributed. Quilts folded feet warming cold sheets, preheated soapstones, wrapped woolens carried bedroom. Trundled beds slid beneath adults' daytime storing space. Pulled evening children, sleeping crosswise feet to head. Feather bolsters propped necks avoiding crick. Homespun pillowcases changed monthly washing lye tubs. Windows shuttered tight pintle hinges. Wooden latches dropped securing against wind wolves foxes. Hearth coals banked ashes smothering flames overnight ready rekindling dawn breaths. Last candle snuffed metal snuffers, collecting charred wicks. Room plunged darkness, broken faint red glow beneath ash cover. Prayers murmured collectively. Thanks sufficiency, protection wilderness. Souls departed. Sleep divided naturally by phasic pattern. First sleep endured 4 hours until midnight waking. Families rose quietly chamber pots emptied windows. Herbal teas, sipped catnip valerian sleepiness returning. Second sleep deeper, claimed until rooster crowed 4:30 a.m. summer. 6 o'clock winter. Dreams populated Bible stories. Harvest fields. Ocean voyages parents described childhoods. Hearth remained beating hard through night. Coals breathed oxygen glowing brighter dark. Temperature steady 55 degrees, preventing pipes freezing. Draft doors closed tight, blocking winter winds, 40 below zero blizzards. Summer evenings, same ritual cooled single punka fanned palm. Leaves swung children ropes, circulating air mosquito-free. Special evenings broke routine gently. Harvest suppers featured whole roast pig turned spit dripping fat coals. Corn roasted husks yielding sweet kernels. Quilting bees gathered 12 women framing sunburst patterns 30 stitches inch. Finished quilts auctioned raising church funds. Spelling bees schoolhouse competed Webster dictionary words. Winners awarded gingerbread hearts molasses icing. Winter storytelling occupied longest nights. Grandparents recounted Indian War survived. Shipwrecks Atlantic coast. Witchcraft trials personally witnessed. Fiddles played slow jigs, Fisher's hornpipe, toes tapping sand floors. Rum toddies warmed insides. Dark rum water lemon peel sugar, heated loggerhead poker glowing red. Illness evenings treated bedside. Mustard plasters spread chest drawing blisters, breaking congestion. Camphor rubbed temples headaches. Peruvian bark quinine dosed malaria chills, shaking victims, blankets piled high. Midwives delivered babies birthing stools, positioned hearth warmth. Successful cries, celebrated grog bowls, passed windowsill neighbor to neighbor. Religious evenings strictest. Psalm singing practiced, weekly perfect pitch, matching deacon lining out Sunday. Fast days proclaimed governor abstained meat, one day repenting sins. Easter vigils read gospels, candlelight extinguishing, symbolizing Christ's death, relit resurrection. Through every evening variation, hearth-anchored lives. Firewood stacked cords outside. 4 feet length split wedges, maul weighing 12 pounds. Rickied cross-piled air drying 2 winters. Hickory burned hottest 8 hours log. Oak steady 6 hours. Pine quick hot 4 hours sparking. Ashes sifted weekly live production. Potash shipped England barrels, yielding 4 pounds sterling ton. Candles rationed carefully. Tallow 14-hour burn cost 1 penny apiece. Bayberry 20-hour luxury, 1 shilling pound fragrant clean. Wicks trimmed scissors nightly avoiding smoke. Snuffers emptied daily, preventing grease fires. Whale oil lamps, rare coastal homes, burned 30 hours quart. Trimmed cotton wicks round burners. Night deepened completely now. Hearth coals sighed final breaths beneath gray ash blanket. Family slept deeply, attuned to tomorrow's dawn rhythm. Outside crickets measured summer hours. Frogs chorused spring ponds. Wind soughed pine branches winter. Colonial evenings complete. Supper warmth. Mending talk. Candlelit reading. Quilt-wrapped sleep. Hearth fire cradling ordinary lives through another gentle turning of darkness into light. Colonial children numbered large families, averaging 7 surviving infancy. Born yearly, spacing pregnancies natural without contraception. Cradles rocked pegs driven bedposts. Linen swaddling bands wrapped tight straight spines first 3 months. Wet nurses fed colostrum-rich milk when mother's insufficient. Goat milk substitute warmed pewter bottles, nipple-shaped rags. Teething eased coral necklaces rubbed gums. Paregoric laudanum drops, dosed carefully avoiding addiction. By age 3, toddlers toddled dooryards avoiding chickens, geese nipping heels. Wooden blocks carved fathers shaped cubes pyramids. Corn-husk dolls stuffed rags sewn tight. Rocking horses sawn pine rockers, painted dappled gray entertained rainy days. Gender roles appeared early. Boys wielded tiny hammers, nails, practicing carpentry. Girls cradled dolls, practicing motherhood, rocking cradles, peg squeaking. Age 5 brought chores, light responsibility. Girls gathered eggs, twice daily nests lined feathers. 5 dozen weekly stored crock oatmeal, preventing breakage. Boys carried water pails, yoke-balanced shoulders. 2 quarts trip, spring 200 yards distant. Both gathered kindling thumb-thick sticks, stacked neat dooryard-ready hearth use. Play integrated work, egg hunts, races, nests. Water spilling contests, measuring skill. Dame schools accepted ages 4 to 8. Neighboring widows, teaching 20 pupils, clabbered room, heated stove. Fees paid cordwood butter eggs quarterly. Horn books, single sheet alphabets, printed horn-covered, protecting grubby fingers. Held slates, chalk writing ABCs. New England primer memorized. Our days begin with trouble here. First reader, 3 pence copies. Needlework girls, stitched samplers, marking alphabets, cross-stitched silk threads, numbered canvas. Age 8 separated schooling boys, grammar school Latin, Cicero parsing sentences. Girls domestic arts, finishing samplers, spinning wheels. Boys chop firewood hatchets, pound maul, splitting foot lengths. Drove cows pasture woodland paths, goat sticks. Girls carted wool hand carts, rolling rollags, fed distaffs. Spun flax distaffs, producing tow cloth work aprons. Both hunted small game, slingshots, lead pellets. Trapped squirrels, boxed traps, baited corn. Games filled stolen moments. Marbles, clay, baked shooters, glass imported rarely. Keepsies, winners keeping losers' marbles. Hoops, wooden tires, trundled sticks, called trundlers, racing street, avoiding pigs. Top spun whips, braided hemp leather poppers. Humming pitches, indicating speed. Leapfrog, prisoner's base. Tag variants, filled greens, dodging adults. Age 10 brought full farm labor. Boys plowed with oxen wooden moldboards, turning furrows foot deep. Planted corn hills, fish fertilizer buried inches below kernels. Girls milk cows, 3 quarts morning evening. Churned butter dasher wooden churns, working up-down motion. Both hoed weeds rhythmically chopping between plants. Carried harvest baskets, corn ears, weighing 20 pounds loaded sledges. Punishment swift certain. Birch rod switched legs misbehavior. Go to bed supperless, withheld evening pottage. Dunce cap, cone paper worn corner hour inattentiveness. Parental authority absolute. Proverbs 13 verse 24, spare rod spoiled child, quoted frequently. Runaways rare, wilderness dangers immediate. Clothing practical durable. Boys wore leather breeches knee-length. Woolen shirts loose collarless. Stockings hand-knitted wool-pulled garters. Girls linen shifts pinafores protecting dresses. Mop caps covering hair dust. Shoes lasted years resoled oxide. Hobnail boots boys winter. All barefoot April-October, saving leather. Holidays brightened routines. Christmas church hymns, cider wassail bowls passed. No trees gifts. Stockings hung hearth apples nuts. 12th night January 6th, bean cakes king, queen crowned paper elected serving pie. Easter eggs dyed onion skins, red beet juice purple. Rolled hills racing cracked shells. Independence Day July 4th militia drills, firing muskets powder salutes. Harvest, husking bees, gathered 50 children, adults husking corn revealing colored hiders, red-blue awarding kisses finders. Applebee's ladders hung branches, picking bushels, pressed cider, 3 gallons yield. Netting parties October woods gathering hickory pecans, cracked hammers stored winter. Illness common deadly. Smallpox, inoculated cowpox, pus scratched, arm 1721 Lady Mary, Wortley Montague method. Diphtheria, throat distemper, killed thousands tonsillectomies, knives without anesthesia. Dysentery summer, scourge, boiled water chamomile prevented. Whooping cough, convulsed, week's goose grease, rubbed chests, onion poultices. Coming of age, marked 15. Boys apprentice trades 4-7 years, learning blacksmithing, coopering, printing. Girls put to service. Neighboring farms learning cooking, spinning, midwifery. Courtship began 16 boys carved whistles, courting maidens. Presented thimbles, thimble rings, betrothal. Weddings simple magistrate knot tying. In fair 3-day dance, fiddles rum punch. Bride's gown saved heirlooms, groom's silver buckles. Quilting bees, prep trousseau, 12 quilts, sunburst log cabin patterns, 30 stitches inch. Night found children trundled beds, pulled adults. Straw ticks, shaken lumps gone. Stories lulled sleep. Paul Bunyan tall tales. Indian legends passed orally. Prayers recited. Now I lay me down sleep. Collective murmurings. Windows shuttered tight, foxes, owls calling woods. Winter evenings, knitting contests produced stockings. 24 inches long, 20 needles. Sledding steep hills, waxed runners, racing finish lines. Skating frozen ponds, deerskin straps, binding wood blades. Snow forts battled snowballs, corn husk, grenades. Spring maple sugaring boiled sap 30 gallons, 1 pound sugar. Children gathering pail sap buckets. Fishing brooks, angle worms, bent pins, hooks. Perch pickerel fried crisp. Swimming holes, cannonballs, splashing, avoiding currents. Summer swimming berries, gathered wild blueberries, blackberries, pints vinegar pies. Kite flying, paper mulberry bark frames, tailing 6 rag strips. Baseball, 1 old cat, stickball variations, played bare fields. Adolescence brought responsibilities heavier. Boys shouldered plows alone. Felled trees, broad axes, 20-inch oaks, 30 minutes. Girls managed kitchens, mothers absent. Baked 40 loaves, 50-pound flour troughs. Courtships walked Sunday's meeting house. Carved hearts, trees, initials intertwined. Through labor, play, sickness, health. Colonial children grew sturdy, practical. Mortality high, 1/3 dead age 5. Yet survivors strong, land hardened. Books scarce, learning oral visual hands-on. Games simple nature made, toys father carved mother sewn. No idleness tolerated. Satan finds work idle hands, quoted frequently. Yet laughter filled air, races, riddles. Rhymes past generations. Discipline firm, affection shown deeds not words. Extra pie slice, new Sunday bonnet reward. Night deepened completely now. Children's breaths, even deep trundle beds. Hearth coals sighed final embers. Outside wind sough pines, cradling dreams, tomorrow's chores, games, lessons. Colonial childhood complete. Work-play woven seamless fabric growing strong simple world, turning gently dark light. Colonial agriculture sustained lives through patient cycles tied to sun, soil, and seasons. With corn as undisputed king crop planted every farm regardless size or location. Each kernel planted individually, hills spaced 4 feet apart. 10 seeds hill thinned 5 strongest plants after sprouting. Fish fertilizer buried 2 inches below seeds. Herring heads guts providing nitrogen phosphorus releasing slowly 6 weeks. Feeding stalks reaching 12 feet, tassels waving August. Yields average 30 bushels acre. Enough feeding 10 people year plus seed planting. Fields cleared painstakingly first. Axes girdled trees, killing slowly, letting light ground crops, while timber season building. Underbrush grubbed mattocks, heavy picks, uprooting stumps burned spring fires, creating ash fertilizer. Rocks gathered stone walls snaking property lines. Dry-laid fieldstone fences lasted centuries, defining boundaries no surveyors needed. Plowing began April full moon, using oxen teams, wooden moldboards, turning 12-inch furrows clay-heavy soils. No iron plow small farms. Wooden shares sharpened whetstones, nightly cut roots. Boys 10 years drove teams goad sticks prodding shoulders. Walked furrows pressing soil firm preventing crusting rain. Harrowing followed brush harrows dragged oxen breaking clods leveling seedbed perfect. Corn cultivated 3 times religiously. First laying by knee-high plants June. Second chest-high July. Third tasseling August. Hose 5 pounds swung both hands chopped weeds rhythmically between hills. Earth-piled plants strengthening stalks wind resistance. Women hoed gardens nearby thinning carrots every other plant. Pinching beans, climbing corn poles, lashed hickory wives. 3 sisters method native taught dominated. Corn stalks beans climbing squash sprawling ground suppressing weeds conserving moisture. Beans fixed nitrogen soil naturally. Squash large leaves shaded earth, preventing evaporation. Rotation practiced intuitively. Cornfields fallowed clover year 2, restoring fertility. Pastures sheep grazing manure naturally. Wheat secondary spring planted broadcast handfuls, acre harrowed, lightly covering seed. Sickles cut ripe grain August bundled. Sheaves shocked 10 bundles, standing protecting rain. Threshing flails, wooden handles, swung barns separating grain straw. Winnowing tossed shovelfuls, wind carrying chaff away leaving kernels clean. Yields 10 bushels, acre milled neighborhood grist mills, toll 1/8 payment. Hay meadows mowed scythes sharpened hourly whetstones. Cut grass spread wooden tedders drying 3 days. Raked windrows small cocks, protecting dew. Loaded sleds oxen drawn stacked 40-foot barns mows, supporting weight winter feeding. Clover alfalfa rotations, improved yields 20% over native grasses. Livestock integral mixed farming. Oxen plowed draft animals castrated bulls, weighing 2,000 pounds, pulling 2,000 pounds plows all day. Cows milked twice daily 3 gallons, each stored pans, cream rising butter churning. Sheep numbered 20 flocks, providing wool 3 pounds annual shearing spring washed lanolin streams, carded spun cloth family use. Pigs semi-wild ranging woods acorns massed. Penned autumn fattening corn slop yielding. Ham smoked hickory 6 weeks, 20 pounds meat 100-pound hog. Chickens free range laying nests feathers, averaging 150 eggs. Hen yearly stored crocks oatmeal preservation. Orchards planted systematically. Apple trees 50-foot spacing northern slopes frost protection. Grafts English varieties New England rootstock, surviving harsh winters. Varieties Spitzenberg Roxbury russet, yielding bushels, pressed cider. 3 gallons bushel fermented naturally 6% alcohol safe summer drinking. Peaches plums southern colonies, walled gardens frost pockets. Harvest peaked October, husking bees. 50 neighbors gathered stripping corn husks, revealing colored hiders, red-blue awarding kisses finders. Barns filled ears hung ears down, preventing mold. Fodder stalks chopped cattle silage. Root cellars dug 8 feet square, stone-lined barrels cabbage sauerkraut, fermenting lactic bacteria. Carrots sand-packed, preventing shrivel. Potatoes mounded straw-covered frost protection. Tools evolved slowly practical. Dibble sticks planted seeds precisely. Corn knives, steel blades, husking ears minute. Grain cradles, wooden baskets, attached sickles, laid grain neat windrows binding. Pitchforks, hand-forked tines, loaded hay wagons. Flails, 6-foot handles, swung barns threshing. Weather-dominated planning. Almanacs predicted frosts, planting dates. Farmers watched oak leaves turning, timing first frost preparations. Droughts hand-watered corn hills, bucket streams. Floods rebuilt washed-out field stone walls, community effort. Blizzards kept livestock barns, double hay rations. Dug tunnels, manure removal, preventing trampling. Fertilizers cycled naturally. Fish manure, herring, gull guts. Barn manure, composted year, straw bedding. Wood ashes, potash, leached lye production. Clamshell lime, coastal farms, spread bushels, acre neutralizing acidic soils. Bone meal, rare whale bones, boiled oil, coastal factories, ground powder. Markets, local fairs, selling surplus. Butter, stamped wooden prints, owner identification. Eggs, quartz, straw nests, 4 pence dozen. Cheese, paraffin-coated yellow wheels, 10 pounds. Corn, bartered rum, 1 gallon bushel. Cider, 3 gallons bushel. Weights, honest brass scales balanced exactly. No paper currency, Spanish silver standard. Innovations spread neighbor to neighbor. Plow improvements, iron shares, tipped wooden moldboards, cutting deeper faster. Seed drills, wooden boxes, horse-drawn, dropping kernels. Furrow-covered, saving labor 50%. Crop rotation, clover, turnips. Wheat, corn, 4-year cycle doubled yields over monoculture. Women farmed equally gardens, herbs, medicinal. Pumpkins, boiled pies, maple molasses. Beans, dried winter pottage. Peas, shell, dried strings, hung rafters. Herbal remedies, foxglove, heart, dropsy. Willow bark, aspirin precursor. Sassafras tea, vitamin C, scurvy prevention. Children integrated fully, age 8 boys dropping seeds. Girls weeding gardens. Teens plowing, driving teams. Families worked on dusk. Meals field carried, birch bark pails, cider, jonna cakes, corn cakes. Success measured, bushels stored. Livestock fat, cider flowing. No cash needed, self-sufficient. Risks constant. Grasshoppers devoured fields, overnight hand-picked jars, soapy water. Cutworms ringed stems, nightly patrols, torches. Rust fungi blackened wheat heads, ashes sifted, seed cleaning. Animals raided, deer corn nibbled. Crows perched, scarecrows, corn husk effigies, flapping rags. Winter planting, seeds selected, strongest plants. Tools repaired, forges. Barns inventoried, feed stores. Spring fever gripped everyone, April plowing, earliest dry soil. Summer weeding, relentless, preventing seed, set competition. Autumn harvest, frenzy secured, winter food stores. Fields sloped south, windbreaks, pine hedgerows, trapping snow, winter moisture. Contour plowing followed hill curves, preventing erosion washes. Manure spread, spring plows, turning under slow-release nutrients. Legumes planted, nitrogen fixation, soil building. Through flood, drought, insect war. Fields endured. Farmers adapted, weather records, notched sticks, generations passed. Tools sharpened, whetstones nightly. Animals bred stronger, draft bigger milk. Yields climbed slowly, 20 bushels, 50 through selection rotation. Sun set now over stubbled fields. Corn shocks stood sentinels, waiting husking. Barns glowed lanterns, sorting seed corn. Families slept sound, knowing earth worked faithfully. Seeds planted hills, neat rows, promising another turning seasons, abundance, scarcity balanced, perfect natural rhythm. Colonial craftsmen sustained communities through specialized skills, passed father to son apprenticeships, lasting 7 years, from age 14. Blacksmiths dominated trades. Forges glowing cherry red charcoal bellows pumped leather lungs, forcing 20,000 cubic feet air hour. Anvils weighed 150 pounds, forged wrought iron, imported Sweden. Hammers 3 pounds swung rhythmically, shaping plowshares, horseshoes, nails. Horses shod 8 nails clinched tight. Shoes lasting 3 months, mud roads. Coopers shaped barrels watertight. Oak staves 24 inches beveled, exact crows. Planes cutting grooves, hoop seating. White oak cleft fro mallets, thin flexible. Bent steam boxes, heated kettles, conforming circles. Tight coopers made pork brine hogsheads, 32 gallons, hoops 12 hammer trunnels. Slack coopers dry goods, sugar chests. Tools included bevels marking angles, augers boring bungholes precise. Wheelwrights built wagons, wheels. Spokes 15 elm with tapered hubs mortised exactly. Fellows oak segments, steam bent glued pegged iron tires. Shrunk hot expanded rims, contracting tight. Axles hickory turned lathes, lubricated tar pine knots boiled. Wagons carried 4 tons, corn market 20 miles. Wheels 20% larger, mud clearance. Tanners processed hides, pit cured oak bark tannin, leaching 6 months, softening leather pliable. Beam knives fleshed hide smooth, fleshing beams, oak curved edges, preventing cuts. Shoes lasted 10 years, resold thrice. Harnesses stitched waxed linen thread, oak tan cowhide. Cord wainers lasted wooden foot-shaped pegged sawls. Awls punched, stitching holes waxed and sewn double-stitched. Weavers filled looms, homespun cloth. Saxony wheels spun flax linen, shirting 24-count warp. Great wheels woolen broadcloth 56 inches wide. Looms 30 feet shuttles, flew 20 picks minute producing yards daily. Patterns overshot twills diaper weave, dyes butternut brown madder red, indigo blue woad, fermented urine vats. Cabinet makers crafted furniture pine maple walnut. Joinery mortise tenon pegged square, without nails. Dovetails drawers hand sawn backs veneered sawn thin. Chest 6-board chests lid hinged wooden pintles. Blanket chests decorated scratch carving compass circles hearts. Tables gate legs folded walls saving space. Chairs ladder backs rush seats rewoven yearly. Potters turned clay wheels kick wheels foot powered centering wet clay pulling pot symmetrical. Lead glazing dipped fired kills, cone 12 reaching 1200 degrees. Salt glazing vaporized salt fluxed silica glassy surface. Jugs crocks churns butter yellow slip decorated tulip patterns. Plates chargers hung walls decoration. Silversmith's rare luxury melting Spanish coinage 8 pence, bits spoons tankards. Hammers chased repoussé patterns rows of scrolls. Anvils stakes shaped contours. Pewter cheaper spun lathes alloy tin antimony, lead-free coastal imports. Buttons thread-sewn fabric-covered bone carved walrus ivory coastal. Printers composed typecases wooden presses imported England 50 sterling. Type lead alloy handcast 600 hour. Galleys lock chases ink balls sheepskin printing broadsides 8 pages quarto. Ink lamp black boiled linseed oil. Paper rag English imported cut quires 20 sheets. Gazette's weekly advertisements strayed horses rewards runaway servants descriptions. Miller's ground corn grist mills water wheels overshot 30 feet. Fall turning 1 bushel hour toll 1/16th payment. Stone's French burr imported 90 inches diameter furrows cut star patterns grinding efficient. Bolt silk screens cleaned brand middlings flour grated bolted sieves. Sawmills upriver squared logs pit saws 2 men boards inch thick hour. Gunsmiths rifled barrels octagonal stocked maple curly grain figured. Locks flintlock frisons sparking pans priming powder. Triggers hair triggers light pull. Muskets brown Bess imported England. Fowling pieces squirrel hunting. Rifles long German Jaeger pattern accurate 200 yards. Baker's brick ovens preheated faggot bundles oak preheated 8 hours retaining heat 24 loaves 50 pounds flour kneaded troughs. Cornbread Johnny cake skillet fried. Rye wheat hearth loaves slash tops expansion. Sugar gingerbread molasses heart shapes holidays. Chandler's dipped candles tallow kettles 60 pounds rendered beef suet simmered. Wicks cotton braided flat burning sudless. Bayberry luxury coastal boiled wax berries fragrant 20 hours burn 1 shilling pound. Molds pewter 6 candles cast save dipping labor. Trades interdependent completely. Blacksmiths forged cooper tools. Coopers made tanner vats. Tanners supplied cord wainers. Weavers cloth tailors. Barter dominated. Wheelwright took corn payment. Miller told flour. Potter crocks butter. Markets fairs exchanged finished goods surplus farm produce. Women skilled equally in visible trades. Spinning bees 12 wheels, clicking 12 pounds yarn day. Quilting frames 30 stitches, inch sunburst patterns. Dyeing vats butternut sumac indigo blue. Weaving overshot coverlets diaper linens. Candle dipping frames 60 wicks dipped 20 times half-inch thickness. Apprenticeships structured strictly. Age 14 bound 7 years masters, providing food lodging instruction. Freedom dues suit clothes 50 shillings completion. Girls domestic service, cooking spinning midwifery 3 years. Guilds absent regulation neighbor reputation enforced quality. Tools handmade durable. Planes wooden bodies iron irons mouth adjustable frogs. Saws crosscut rip dozen teeth inch hand filed alternate bevels. Chisels octagon ash handles laminated steel blades hardened water quenched. Squares tri-squares carpenter made check corners perfect. Workshops simple open-sided sheds ventilation forged smoke. Benches sawn planks pegged frames. Walls pegged tools shadow boards silhouettes immediate identification. Lighting day windows, night whale oil lamps, beta burners, trimmed cotton wicks. Nightfall gathered craftsman families, hearths, mending tools, sharpening whetstones. Blacksmiths bank forges, ashes ready dawn coals. Coopers soak staves, swelling joints. Weavers rewound bobbins, moonlight. Sleep came early, 8 o'clock handles costly. Sun dip below workshops now. Hammers silent, anvils cooling. Looms stilled, shuttles resting. Hands calloused, skilled, rested, simple supper, earned sweat craft. Sustaining colonies, strong, simple, beautiful. Tomorrow dawn bellows, pumped hammers, rang wheels turned. Craftsmen hands shaping wood iron clay, sustaining lives, turning gently darkness light. Colonial travel moves slowly, deliberately tied, natural contours, rather straight lines. Dirt roads 12 feet wide, winding hill contours, avoiding swamps, steep grades. No macadam existed. Roads maintained community labor, pathmasters, appointed annually overseeing ditch digging, culvert, building stone causeways, creek crossings. Carts, wagons, sleighs seasonal, wheels summer mud. Runners winter snow, saving axle wear. Most journeys horseback, saving animal strength rider weight. Saddlebags held 3 days provisions, corn, pone, jerked beef, cider canteens. Horses shod, blacksmith nails clinched tight. Bits curb chains adjusted loose, avoiding mouth sores. Roads marked ordinary. Signs, taverns, mileposts, hand-painted Boston 20 miles. Notches, trees, blazed hatchet scars, freshening yearly. Rivers, principal highways. Flatboats poled upstream shallows. Floated downstream currents, loaded 10 tons, tobacco hides. Ferry crossings, flat scows, cable-pulled, windlass cranks, operated 2 men. Charged 4 pence man, horse 6 pence wagon. Canoes, birch bark, native-built, lightweight, 60 pounds, portage trails. Dugouts, oak 40 feet, carved adzes, fire-hollowed. Coastal sloops, 40 tons, sailed Chesapeake, Boston 6 days, favoring winds. Holds packed flour, tobacco packed barrels, preventing brine damage. Captains navigated compass, lead lines, depth soundings, by the Mark V calls. Passengers hammocks slung below decks. Meals, salt pork, hardtack, water casks. Stage wagons, rare luxury, Philadelphia, New York, weekly carrying mail passengers, 12 inside hard leather seats. Springs, leather straps, cushion jolts. Trunks strapped rear, guarded highwayman pistols, flintlock powder horns. Fare 1 shilling mile meals, ordinaries included. Tavern spaced 10 miles, ordinaries, providing bed, board, horse stabling. Beds, rope-strung straw ticks changed weekly. 2-3 sleepers, saving laundry. Supper, family-style trenchers, pork, beans, cider 3 pence. Stables mowed, hay 12 quarts nightly. Oats 4 quarts grain. Landladies brewed, flipped loggerhead pokers, heated rum, beaten eggs, sugar 6 pence bowl. Post riders carried letters, saddlebags, leather waterproof. Charged 4 pence sheet 20 miles. 8 pence 50 miles. Wax seals unbroken delivered. Paper rag English folded for no envelopes. News, travel, trader, gossip, ordinaries. Almanacs, printed, local happenings, regional. Bridges, rare wooden covered spans. Pine beams pegged, lasting 20 years, toll-free. Creeks forded, low water seasons. Causeways, logs filled, stone, high water crossings. Snow-blocked winter drifts 10 feet deep. Traveler snowshoes, Indian web strung, sinew frames, breaking trail. Pedestrians common, poor walking, staves, ash crooks, supporting 20 miles day. Women carried market baskets, covered cloths. Children trailed hoop sticks. Distant travelers slept barns, haymows, free hospitality. Knocked farmhouse doors, milled bread shelter. Coastal paths, beachcombing, low tide shells, driftwood. Horseshoes, iron spikes, marking high water safe passage. Lighthouse beacons, coastal rare, wood towers. Fish oil lamps, beta burners, visible 10 miles, fog permitting. Market roads busiest, Wednesdays, Saturdays, farmers, wagons, creaking corn, cider, butter, stamp prints. Drovers herded pigs, geese, tied strings, 50 birds procession. Sheepdogs, collies trained, whistles, nips, keeping flocks road tight. Wagon repairs, field roadside. Wheelwrights carried spoke shaves, draw knives, replacing broken fellows, green oak steam, bent clamps. Axles, greased pine, tar kettles, boiled knots. Hubs, wooden mortised, spokes tight. Tire setters, heated iron tires, expanding shrunk hot rims, contracting vice tight. River towns bustled, landing stages, flatboats, unloading flour barrels, rolled log runways. Warehouses clabbered tobacco hogsheads, stacked pyramid stable. Teamsters, oxen 6, yoke drawing sledges, cordwood market. Fish markets, cod, split, dried flakes, salted 18 months, sea voyage. Postmasters, general stores, sorted letters, pigeonholes, rented boxes, 1 shilling year. Newspapers, Gazette, Mercury, printed weekly 8 pages, quarto advertisements, strayed bay mare, white hind foot, reward 10 shillings. Almanacs, Poor Richard, sold 3 pence, planting dates, remedies. Highwaymen, rare, but dreaded pistols, horse pistols, powder horns, 30 rounds. Travelers rode pairs, pistols, primed pans. Women carried pepper boxes, pepper charges. Militia patrols, county roads, quarterly foxhorn signals. Winter sleighing, best travel runners, waxed soapstone, gliding packed snow. Bells harness, jingling, alerting walkers. Sledges carried 20 tons, logs, mill ponds. Passengers, buffalo robes, wrapped feet warmers, charcoal braziers. Spring freshets swelled rivers, washing bridges, log jams, cleared pike poles. Summer dust clouds announced approaching teams mile distant. Autumn mud, knee-deep oxen teams, double yoke pulling stuck wagons, neighbors, ropes helping. Navigation aid simple. Mile marker stones carved, Philadelphia 12 miles roadside. Ford signs, painted boards, shallow ford, next mile deep ford. Lighthouse oil lamps, trimmed cotton wicks. Foghorns, conch shells, blown warnings. Night travel, rare owls, wolves distant. Lanterns, beta burners, whale oil 30 hours, quart swinging saddle bows. Campfires, travelers, kettles, hung tripods. Coffee, chicory, roasted ground. Johnny cakes, skillet fried coals. Rivers froze, solid January teams. Crossing ice 2 feet thick, tested poles. Spring breakup, ice flows, dangerous canoeists, poling eddies, avoiding currents. Summer thunderstorms, lightning struck lone, oaks, travelers huddled, wet blankets. Through storms, shine, mud, snow. Roads, rivers, bound colonies, gentle, insistent. News traveled weeks, months. Families parted years, reuniting ordinaries, tales exchanged. Distances measured days, walking miles, horse hours, boat, patience, currency, journey. Sunset roads now. Taverns glowed, windows, candles guttering. Ferries moored, landings, ropes coiled. Travelers slept sound, journeys complete. Rivers murmured, dark, endless, patient, carrying tomorrow's travelers. Same winding roads, binding lives, land, turning gently light dark. Colonial faith-centered timber meeting houses. Plain white clapboard steeples, square bell towers, visible 5 miles. No crosses, steeples, crosses, popish idolatry. Pulpits 10 feet high, turned balusters, Bibles, chained lecterns. Pews backless, forms men one side, women opposite, children, gallery upstairs. Windows 12 panes, 8 by 10 crown glass, wavy bullseye, centers, letting diffused light illuminate plain walls. Sundays began 4 a.m. families, rising chores, cows milked, fires, kindled hasty, pudding boiled overnight. Meeting house bell tolled slow 8 strokes, 5 minutes intervals, calling faithful. Wagons creaked, dirt roads, children Bibles, horn books, tucked, armed Sunday woolens, saved week wear. Services began 10 a.m. sharp, deacon, opening doors, swinging wide. Psalm 100 sung a cappella, make joyful noise, Lord earth. First line lined out, repeated congregation. Prayer 20 minutes, kneeling, rushes, sewn mats. Scripture Leviticus, Numbers, read slowly, Geneva Bibles, notes Calvin. Sermon 90 minutes, predestination, perseverance, saints. Sin's worldliness, warned against. Noontime dinner carried birch bark pails, Johnny cakes, cider cheese wheels. Men gathered horse trading church steps. Women exchanged remedies, catnip, tea, colic, mustard, plasters, colds. Children played tag, prisoners base, avoiding elders' sight. Afternoon service, repeated morning different text. Children dismissed 3 p.m. grammar school, ciphering slates. Adults stayed full 5 hours total. Thursday lectures, midweek 2 hours doctrine. Baptisms, infants held font-carved pine basin, silver-lined, wealthier churches. Sprinkling foreheads, Water Creek blessed. Adults immersion, rare river baptisms, summer eddies. Communion, quarterly bread, rye leavened wine, cider substitutes. Elements passed, pewter plates, cups white shared. Discipline, public visible. Church members voted excommunication, adultery, drunkenness, Sabbath breaking. Sinners sat front stool, repentance, wearing white sheet 6 Sundays. Restored good, standing vote, unanimous, forgiveness extended. Weddings, magistrate, homes, minister, church, not tying simple vows, ringless. Bride's calico gown, saved heirlooms, room silver buckles. In fair 3 days, fiddles, dancing, barn floor, sanded smooth. Funerals, plain pine coffins, nailed shut home wakes, neighbor cider cheese. Graves, east-west resurrection facing. Headboards, carved tulips, hearts, willow trees. Sermons, job mortality, dust return. Revivals, rare emotional great awakening, 1740s. George Whitefield preaching, fields, 10,000 gathered. Jonathan Edwards, sinners, wrathful God, spiders. Thread, illustrated damnation. Converts, examine testimony, assurance, faith works. Home worship, nightly Bible family altar. Children memorized catechism. Chief and man glorify God and joy forever. Grace meals, earthly Father, heavenly Father, food, bodies, souls, murmured heads bowed. Fast days, governor, proclaim calamities, drought, smallpox, abstaining meat, 1 day prayer, repentance. Thanksgiving, local bountiful harvests, proclamation, cider, roast pig feasting. Holidays, minimal. Christmas church hymns, wassail, no trees, gifts. Stockings, apples, nuts. Easter eggs, dyed onion skins, red beets, purple rolled hills racing. Whit Sunday, Pentecost, of symbols, chalk doors. Church discipline strict. Adultery public, whipping 13, stripes town stocks. Sabbath breaking fine shillings, playing cards dice. Drunkenness, stool, repentance, 6 weeks. Ministers, Harvard, Yale, trained Latin, Hebrew theology. Sermons handwritten, 300 pages, weekly preached extemporaneously memory. Salaries, 60 pounds, cordwood, equivalent glebe farms, 10 acres, work deacons. Parsonages, 2-story, 6 rooms, hearths every room. Women invisible ministry, sewing pulpit cloths, altar linens, cross-stitched. Dorcas societies, visited sick, poor soups, broths, herbal remedies. Midwives prayed, birthing, delivering healthy souls. Children grammar school, Latin school, scripture, memory, Psalms, Proverbs. Dame schools, ABC's primer, Adam, fall, sinned all. College rare Harvard class, 20 boys, theology ministry. Faith practical daily. Providence acknowledged, storms, harvests, illnesses, God's will. Superstition, frowned witch hazel, divining rod, sinful. Dreams, interpreted scripture, job. Samuel, not fortune-telling. Music, simple. Psalters, Bay Psalm book, first American, printing 1640. Fiddles, secular, dancing, sinful church. Shape note, singing, Fa sol la taught, sight reading. Architecture, plain, purposeful. Steeples, weather vanes, directional wind, arrows gilded. Bells, bronze, imported, England, told hours, deaths. Doors, double, swinging wide, admitting carriages, funerals. Night prayer, meeting houses now. Candles, snuffed, windows, dark. Families, home, Bibles, closing chapters. Faith anchored lives, steady, constant, through trials, joys, turning seasons. Meeting house stood Sentinel Hill, watching sleeping faithful, cradling souls, through gentle Sabbath night. Letters wove the fragile lifeline connecting colonial families, separated by vast oceans and endless wilderness, each sheet carrying months of waiting, hope, and quiet longing across waters that swallowed ships whole. Writing began at slant-top desks, fall fronts, hinged, revealing secret pigeonholes, inkwells, compartments, holding sand shakers, quill knives, sealing wax family seals, engraved silver crests, lions, eagles, hearts. Goose feathers, sharpened pocket knives, slanted nibs, perfect inkstands, ceramic pots, gallo inko galls, iron sulfate brooch, strong black lines, parchment rag paper, English imported folded for no envelopes, sealed red wax, drippings, impressions, family mottos, semper fidelis, virtue liberty. Stationery precious rationed. Paper quires, 20 sheets cut half, saved ink scarce, imported barrels. Writers crossed lines, saving sheets, front back diagonal, reusing margins. Children copied masters, neat round-hand penmanship, copybooks, ruled blue lines. Honored father fields, prosper rains, timely corn knee-high. Sand shaken, blotted excess, ink, preventing smears, folded triangles, sealed wax, thumb pressure crests perfect. Ships carried letters, captains, private favor, space permits, holds flour barrels ballast. Charged 4 pence sheet, 20 miles, 8 pence 50. Packets Royal Mail, fortnightly Falmouth, Cornwall, fastest, 12 days, Lisbon gales delaying. Sloops coastal 40 tons, Chesapeake, Boston, 6 days, winds permitting, holds packed hogsheads, tobacco, staves, hoops tight. Captains navigated compass, lead lines, depth soundings. By Mark 5 quarter, less 7 mud bottom, rhythmic calls. Content layered, practical, emotional. Merchants invoices 200 HHDS prime tobacco to DLB middling 1D 1/2 equals 16 pounds 13ths. 4D freight Mary 5s ton 10 pounds. Exchange rates Spanish mill dollars 8 piece sterling 4 6D. Family's health births daughter Mary wed Cooper stable trade 5 children healthy. Losses mourned son Joshua fever March buried churchyard aged 14 winters. Recipes exchanged flour pint milk quart eggs beaten nutmeg baked tin reflector moderate coals. Women rode domestic wisdom. Remedies chamomile tea colic Peruvian bark 8U10 grains dissolved rum willow bark decoction aspirin headaches. Needlework patterns overshot twill 12 harnesses 4 shuttles diaper weave counted threads blue wool white linen. Gossip cautious mistress brown Philadelphia silks envious tongues wag. Childbirth advice birthing stool positioned hearth warmth comfrey root T contractions. Children copybooks schoolmasters corrected spelling grammar round and italic hands. Boys Latin Cicero quoted impressing cultured relatives o temporal o mores. Girls samplers alphabets cross-stitched silk numbered canvas sent framed accomplishments. Mary age 10 wrought 1752. Courtship letters suitors described fair complexion brown eyes virtuous carriage modest. Maidens coy heart inclined favorable consider circumstances. Delivery uncertain treacherous. Ships Bermuda's reefs splintered letters bottles cork messages washed rack lines. Pirates Barbary coast captured sloops ransomed crews mail burn bonfires. Storms dismasted 70 days Falmouth provisions exhausted rats eating parchment. Iceberg St. Lawrence winter packets frozen harbors mail sled York Road snowshoes. Post rider saddlebags leather waterproof oiled 30 pounds letters sorted 10 miles ordinaries. Horses changed stables fresh mounts hay oats rubbed down currycombs. Riders memorized descriptions bay mare white hindfoot blaze reward 10s wherever found. Taverns common rooms letters sorted candlelight Philadelphia Boston New York Virginia. Pigeonhole boxes rented one's ear. Receiving moments sacred. Families gathered ordinaries common rooms letters read aloud neighbors sharing news illiterate spelled slowly dear broth or health God spare. Tears laughter mingled. Apprentice printer London steady hand 18th week. Fever took little ones March buried together. Illiteracy 40% readers spelled phonetically Thay ARWL God Whiling. Business letters coded ciphers numbers commodities avoiding interception. Tea chests 50 Indiaman rum 100 gals French brandy. Bankruptcy announced debts exceed assets 300 pound pray mercy creditors. Wills deed surveys 100 acres bounded Red Oak Walnut Creek north bearing N60E40 purchase. Indentures bound 7 years blacksmith faithfully no strong drink. Romance bundles miniatures lockets profile silhouettes paper cuts ships portraits. Betrothal thimbles thimble rings exchanged heart given yours forever. Elopements announced with York minister surprised parents arrived Philadelphia. Legal runaways advertised servant Negro Tom blue coat scarlet breeches reward 40s apprehender. Indentures runaway Irish Mary 16 stolen silver spoon reward 20s. Land disputes Squatter Oak Grove bounded creek survey pending. Ports arriving criers London papers East Indies Bermuda shipwreck survivors streets announcements. Coffee houses merchants Lloyd's list arrivals clearances Beaver London 56 days 200 HHDS tobacco 50 flour barrels. Custom house manifests duties letters accompanying manifests inspected quills noting discrepancies. Winter icebound St. Lawrence packets Falmouth roads snowbound sleds dog sleds. Spring freshets flooded creeks mail bags floating pike poles retrieved. Summer hurricanes mail sloops splintered keys bottles messages conch shells washed beaches children finding rewards innkeepers reposting. Education letters masters universities son diligent Latin Greek Euclid geometry. Books requested Webster spelling Ray arithmetic Cicero orations manifest ships. Almanacs Poor Richards early bed early rising makes healthy wealthy wise. Printed regional news planting dates. Politics cautious, taxes stamps burdensome parliament, no representation Boston merchants protest. Governors, Indians, restless French, Canada, Jesuit intrigue. Smuggling coded, tea chests, French privateers, sugar molasses islands. Fashion patterns, bodice lace stays, 24 whalebone skirt pleated, hoops concealed. Millinery, straw bonnets, chip, woven ribbon, trimmings, ostrich feathers. Buttons, thread-sewn, fabric-covered bone, walrus, ivory carved coastal. Medical journals rare, yellow fever, Philadelphia, 500 souls, inoculation, cowpox, pus arm. Recipes, smallpox variolation, thread pus nostrils, dried snuff. Midwifery, birthing stool, comfort contractions, ergot labor stalled. Night candle desks, quills, scratched parchment, rustled sand shaken, blotting, folded triangles, sealed wax, cooled hard. Families slept cedar chests, trunks letters, promises reunions, news, loves lands, oceans apart. Ships rocked harbors, sails furled, waiting tide, carrying words, endless sea, binding hearts, miles, months, silence, patient, turning light, dark eternal. Coastal ports pulsed colonial America's lifeblood where ocean met land, endless docks, stretching half-mile wharves, piled hogsheads, tobacco barrels, flower-tiered pyramids, rope nets preventing roll. Sloops brigs 40 tons, rocked swells, holds packed salt cod, split dried flakes salted 18 months, sea voyage. Tar smell pine pitch caulked seems tight. Longshoremen rolled barrels, log runways, horse teams, hauled warehouses, clabbered walls, numbered manifests, chalked doors. Ship chandlers supplied canvas bolts, Genoa duck 24 ounces, square yard. Okomoke fiber, tarred hemp seams caulking. Marlene spun yarns, whipping rigging. Riggers aloft splicing shrouds, manila rope, 3 strands, heart lay extra strong. Block sash pulley sheaved whalebone smooth running. Compass makers brass, binnacle lamps, beta burners. Whale oil trimmed cotton wicks 30 hours quart. Shipyards clamored soppets, 2 men boards inch thick hour. Shipwrights adzes, shaping oak frames, curved ribs, 30-ton sloops. Lofts full-size drawings, frames, chalk scaled patterns. Mold lofts, pine boards, bent steam boxes, conforming hull curves. Mast spars, pine knots, free trucked, forests, carpenters, step tabernacles, iron knees. Fish markets, dawned bustle cod, split backbone, knives, salt-packed tears, 18 months curing. Flakes, wooden hurdles, drying flakes, wind turned daily, preventing mold. Mackerel, bluefish barrels, brine pumped tight. Oysters, raked shallows, bushels, sand buried, alive shipping. Wharf, slippery scales, gut buckets, gulls, wheeling constant. Customs house brick, imported England clerks, manifests, quills, duties. Tobacco, 3 DLB rum, 60 gal molasses, 1 DQT. Searchers, pistols, powder horns, boarded sloops, manifests, matching, hold sampling casks, augers. Smugglers, tea chests, French, Indiamen, molasses, islands, Boston Tea Party, protest. Ropery walked, spinning wheels, manila hemp, 3 strands, cable laid, hard rope, standing rigging. Tarred running, rigging tar kettles, boiled pine knots. Lock sesh, pulleys, galvanized iron sheaves, deadeyes, oak, heart-shaped lanyards, reeving purchases, 3-fold advantage. Sailmakers, palm needles, canvas, Genoa duck, 24 ounce, sewed palm iron thimbles, corners. Warehouses, clabbered, numbered manifests, chalk doors, flour barrels, 60 pounds, stamped Miller names. Pork barrels, tiered brine-tight pork, sides, 20 pounds, 100-pound hog. Tobacco hogsheads, Cooper-tight, 32 gallons, hoops 12 trunnels. Leaf prime leaf 2 DLB bright lugs, 1D 1/2 pound. Warding houses fed sailors beans, hardtack cider 3 pence. Beds hammocks slung nails, changed weekly straw ticks. Landladies flip bowls, loggerhead pokers, heated rum beaten eggs, sugar nutmeg 6 pence bowl. Captain's coffee houses, Lloyd's list arrivals clearances, ship Beaver London 56 days, 200 HDS tobacco cleared Lisbon. Merchants consigned tobacco flour, rum bills, lading triplicate masters receipts. Insurance policies, underwriters Lloyd's, sloop Mary 40 tons, 500-pound hull, 1,000-pound cargo Bermuda, triangle risks excluded. Lighthouse beacons with towers, fish oil lamps, beta burners visible 10 miles. Keepers trimmed wicks, cotton round burners, whale oil 30 hours quart. Foghorns, conch shells, blown warnings. Signal flags day-night. Ship, distress pilot wanted. Privateers commissions, governors, French prizes, sloops, 24-pounders, carronades, swivels, boarding pikes, booty auctioned wharves. French brig, 120 tons, 20 HDS, rum 10 cannon, 800-pound prize money. Letters mark pocket authorization legal piracy. Pilots bar conch shells carved ivory. Bar sandbars, shifting tides mark buoys kegs pine tarred. Sloops hailed pilot, cutters rode boarding ladders, climbed holds manifests inspected. Market days ports crowded. Butter stamped wooden prints, owner identification 4 pence pound. Egg straw nests 4 pence dozen. Cheese paraffin wheels 10 pounds yellow. Cider 3 gallons, bushel poured firkins 8 gallons. Corn cakes, Johnny cakes, wrapped cloths hot market. Ship captains navigated chronometers longitude accurate 2 minutes daily. Lead lines tallow greased depth. By Mark 5 quarter less 7 Uzius, bottom samples. Quadrants backstaves, noon sights, latitudes, sun altitudes. Naval yards, Portsmouth, Boston frames, Oak 74-74, guns launched 1765 sloops, 24 24-pounders broadside. Ropery walk cable 100 fathoms, anchor chain, wrought iron links, 2 inches proof, tested 30 tons. Wharf rats, controlled ferrets, terriers, ship cats, mousing holds. Custom house dogs, chained doors, barked smugglers, night watches. Gulls, protected fish, scraps, fed gut buckets. Women, fishwives, baskets, balanced heads, oysters, clams, quahogs, bushels, sand-packed alive. Laundry boats, washed captains' linens, boiling kettles, lye tubs, sanded boards. Midwives, birthing captains, wives delivering healthy air, sea fortunes. Children, port rats, climbing, rigging ratlins, toes gripping shrouds. Fishing wharves, angleworms, perch pickerel. Schoolmasters, maritime academy navigation, logarithms, trigonometry, John Hadley sextants. Night lanterns, beta burners, whale oil, swung masts, sloops, riding anchor chains, catheads. Boarding houses, flip bowls, loggerhead pokers, glowing red rum, heated beaten eggs. Taverns, fiddles, fishers' hornpipe, sailors, dancing sand floors, toes shuffling. Ports, slept waves, lapping wharves, ropes, creaking, blocks clacking. Sloops rock gently, holds packed tomorrow's voyages. Wharves, empty barrels, tiered pyramids, silent sentinels. Dawn brought criers, London papers, East Indies. Life pulsing, endless ocean, binding colonies, world, turning light, dark, eternal rhythm tide. Colonial seasons unfolded, measured patient rhythms, marking time, sun position, leaf colors, bird migrations, ice thickness, river flows. Each quarter year, distinct chores, clothing, food preparations, perfectly attuned natural cycles. Winter arrived sharp November, first frost blackening tender plants. Pond skimmed, ice morning, breaking sticks afternoon. Farmers slaughtered pigs, November full moon, pig moon. Yielding ham, smoked hickory 6 weeks, 20 pounds meat, 100-pound hog. Lard rendered kettles, cracklings, fried snacks. Barns double rations, hay 12 quarts, oxen 8 quarts, cows. Corn, silage, chopped fodder stalks, preserving green. Snowfalls, blanketed fields, drifts 10 feet deep tunnels. Dug manure removal, preventing trampling. Sledges, runners, waxed soapstone, glided packed trails, bells harness, jingling, alerting walkers. Indoor days, spinning wheels, clicking 12 pounds yarn bees. Quilting frames, 30 stitches, inch sunburst log cabin patterns. Storytelling, hearth grandparents, Indian wars, shipwrecks, witchcraft trial survived. Hearths consumed cord with monthly hickory 8 hours log, oak 6 pine, 4 sparking dangerously. Candles, tallow dipped frames, 60 wicks, 20 dips, half-inch thickness, bayberry luxury fragrant coastal. Biphasic sleep, first 4 hours, midnight, rising chamber pots, herbal teas, catnip valerian. Second sleep, dawn rooster, crowing 6 a.m. Spring maple sugaring, February thaws, bucket, sap spiles, board augers, 30 gallons. 1 pound sugar, boiled kettles, evaporators. Syrup poured snow, snowballs. Treats children, gathering pails, birch bark funnels. Plowing, earliest dry soil, April full moon, oxen, wooden moldboards, 12-inch. Furrows, clay soils, iron shares, tip cutting roots. Boys drove teams, goad, stick shoulders. Walked furrows, pressing, firm crusting prevention. Lambing April used 20 flocks. Washed streams, lanolin carded rolags, spun Saxony wheels. Gardens planted moon phases, above ground peas, beans, lettuce, waxing moon root, carrots, turnips, potatoes, waning moon. Orchards pruned apple trees, northern slopes, frost pockets, grafts, Spitzenberg, Roxbury, russet. Summer peak, June solstice, fields knee-high corn cultivated first, laying by, host chopping weeds, hills, spaced 4 feet. Hay meadows, scythes, sharpened whetstones, hourly wooden tedders, spreading drying 3 days, raked windrows, cocks do protection. Heat waves, hand-watered corn hills, streams, buckets, conserving moisture evaporation. Berries, wild blueberries, blackberries, pints vinegar pies, gather children baskets. Fishing brooks, angle worms, perch pickerel fried crisp. Swimming holes, cannonballs, avoiding currents. Gardens prolific cabbages, onions, leeks, carrots, turnips, peas, beans, pumpkins, cabbage heads, 20 pounds stored root cellars sandpacked. Harvest frenzy, August corn waist high, second cultivation, tasseling third. Wheat sickles bundled, sheaves shock 10, protecting rain, threshing flails, barns, winnowing shovels, wind chaff. Apples, ladders, hung branches, pressed cider, 3 gallons, bushel fermented, 6% safe drinking. Autumn golden September equinox, corn, husking bees, 50 neighbors, barn filled stripping husks, hiders. Red blue, awarding kisses finders. Cider presses, ladders, apples, bushels, 3 gallons, yield firkins, 8 gallons. Root cellars dug 8 feet square, stone-lined barrels, sauerkraut, carrots, sand potatoes, mound straw, frost protection. Leaves turned scarlet, orange, yellow, oaks, maples, hickories, nutting parties, pecans, hickory, cracked hammers, stored winter. Hunting venison, wildfowl, squirrel traps, box, baked corn powder, horns, flintlock fowling pieces. Frost blackening tender plants, final harvests, pumpkins, boiled pies, maple molasses. Weather signs watched closely. Oak leaves inside out, first frost 3 days. Corn, silk brown tassels, pollen harvest ready. Woolly bear caterpillars, black bands winter severity. Geese flying, south frosts coming. Clothing seasonal. Winter woolen breeches, petticoats, leather aprons. Summer linen shifts, pinafores, barefoot April-October. Shoes, hobnailed boots, resoled oxhide, 3 times 10 years lasted. Hat straw, summer chip, woven winter woolen knit ear flaps. Food preserved perfectly. Pork brined barrels, 2 years, ham smoked hickory. Fish salted tears, flakes dried wind cod, 18 months sea. Vegetables, dried strings, apple slices, raisins. Butter crocks, lard buckets, underground spring houses, chilled year-round. Indoor crafts, winter longest nights. Knitting contests, stockings, 24 inches, 20 needles. Sleds, runners, waxed racing hills. Skating deerskin straps, with blades, frozen ponds. Snow forts, snowballs, corn husk grenades. Spring fever gripped April, plowing earliest soils. Fishing shad runs, rivers, gill nets, bushels, spawned upstream. Strawberries, wood's first fruits, shortcake cream. Lambs frolicking meadows, use milk cheese wheels. Summer berries, raspberries, currants, elderberries, pies, jams. Kite flying, paper mulberry tails, 6 rag strips. Baseball, 1 old cat, stickball, bare fields. Swimming, daily cooling, heat waves. Autumn geese, hunting decoys, corn husk effigies. Flapping rags, scaring crows. Apple stored barrels, cider vinegar pies, sauce. Pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, candles, all hallows, carved faces. Illnesses seasonal. Winter colds, catnip, tea, mustard, plasters, chests. Spring agues, Peruvian bark, quinine willow decoction. Summer dysentery, boiled water chamomile. Autumn pneumonia, goose, grease, onion poultices. Holidays mark transitions. Christmas, wassail, stockings, apples, nuts. 12th night, bean cakes, king, queen. Easter eggs, onion skins, red beets, purple. Whit Sunday, Pentecost of chalk doors. Work bees seasonal. Spring, house raisings, timber frames. Neighbors, lifting peg, mortise tenon. Summer quilting bees, 12 women, sunburst patterns, 30 stitches inch. Autumn husking, logging, cordwood market. Winter spinning bees, 12 wheels, 12 pounds yarn. Through endless turning seasons, colonies endured. Winter tested larders, hearths, patience. Spring promised rebirth, plowing, planting. Summer ripened abundance, weeding, haying. Autumn secured winter stores, husking, cidering. Natures will turn faithful lives, attuned perfect harmony land, providing, taking balance, maintain generations. Night deep and seasonal now. Winter hearth coals, banked ashes, sighing embers. Spring peepers, chorusing, melting snows. Summer crickets, measuring heat, wind, sighing pines. Autumn windfalls, apples thudding soft earth. Families slept sound seasons, cradling endless, turning light, dark, eternal, patient rhythm nature's own. Village greens, anchored colonial communities, open common land, central crossroads. Grass, cropped sheep, geese, bells, tinkling soft. Meeting house, white clapboard steeple, Sentinel Hill overlooking. Taverns bordered greens, ordinaries, two-story clapboard sanded public rooms, downstairs bedchambers, hammocks, slung nails upstairs. Sign swinging iron rods, King's Arms, Liberty Tree. Painted, faded, repainted, yearly 3 pence. Doors double swinging wide, admitting wagons, carriages, foot travelers. Tavern keepers, landladies, poured cider, 3 pence, pint rum 6 pence, gill flip, heated loggerhead, pokers, glowing red rum, beaten eggs, sugar, nutmeg, 6 pence bowl. Sherry cobbler, sherry lemon sugar. Snow ice, rare luxury, Philadelphia imports. Stables mowed, hay 12 quarts, nightly oats, 4 quarts, rubbed curry combs. Fresh mounts, post riders. Public rooms, sand floors, swept daily, preventing slips, dancers, toes, shuffling jigs, soldier's joy. Fisher's hornpipe, fiddles, bow rosin, dust. Long trestle tables, trenchers, pork beans, family style, past bowls, cider firkins, tapped wooden pegs. Clay pipes, tobacco, Virginia leaf, 1 penny bowl, filled scrapers, clay stems, mouthpiece, beeswax coated. Town meetings, ordinaries, elections, selectmen, constable, pathmasters, appointed annually. Petitions read aloud, New Bridge Creek Ford dangerous. Voted unanimous, raised labor tax, 1 shilling poll. Militia musters, captains calling rolls, powder horns, cartridge boxes, inspected, flintlock pans primed. Travelers gathered maps, sketched birch bark, Philadelphia, 20 miles, York, 35, Ford shallow. News exchanged, Boston stamps, protested merchants, non-importation, French Indiamen. Almanacs consulted planting dates, corn new moon, May potatoes, full moon June. Village green events mark calendar. Training days, militia red coats, woolen breeches, paraded fifes, drums. Yankee Doodle, powder salutes, cannon rented 10 shillings charge. Muster fields marked whitewash lines, ranks formed officers barked, shoulder arms, present make ready. Blank cartridges, smoke clouds, women children, watching picnics, Johnny cake cider. Election days, June 1st, freeholders, voting viva voce, names called aloud. John Smith, constable, ayes, 24 nays 3. Candidates treated rum, punch flip bowls, passed freely 6 pence gallon. Results posted tavern door, tallies chalked slate. Fair days, September, autumn busiest. Farmer's butter, stamped wooden prints, owner identification, 4 pence pound. Egg straw nests, 4 pence dozen. Cheese paraffin wheels, 10 pounds yellow. Livestock judged oxen, 2,000 pounds draft strongest. Used 20 fleece heaviest. Ribbons blue red, sewn homespun, awarded winners, cider barrels prizes. Quilting bees, women 12 frames. Stretched parlor windows, sunburst log cabin patterns, 30 stitches, inch finished quilts, auction church funds raising 5 shillings. Spinning bees, 8 wheels, clicking rhythm, 12 pounds, yarn day dye vats, butternut brown, sumac red, indigo blue. Husking bees, barns 50 neighbors, corn stripping hiders, red, blue, yellow, awarding kisses, finders laughter, rippling rafters, cider barrels, tap Johnny cake steaming. Logging bees, cordwood market stacked, ricks cross-piled air, drying 2 winters. Wrestling matches, green boys, 15 stone, stripped shirts, greased bare fat grips, slipping holds. Foot races, 100 yards, starters, pistol powder pans. Primed girls' ribbon prizes, sewn silk. Archery targets, straw bosses, 50 yards, longbows use 60-pound draw arrows, bodkin points. Tavern brawls, rare settled fists, wrestling, holds outside, dirt, no weapons. Constables, stocks, center green drunks, overnight, wooden jaws, neck, wrists locked. Whipping posts, 13 stripes, adultery, Sabbath breaking, public warning, crowds silent watching. Music nights, fiddles, leather breeches. Money musk, dancers, contralines, do as I do Alamand. Shape note, singing F.A. Sol La Taught. Sight reading, psalms, hymns, tavern gatherings. Youth courtships, green benches, carved initials, hearts, trees, Sunday walks, meeting house, arms linked. Bundles, miniatures, lockets, exchanged. Heart yours forever, thimbles, betrothal rings. Night markets, closed, dusk, stalls, folded canvas farmers, wagons creaking homeward. Tavern filled flip bowls, loggerhead pokers, red rum heated. Fiddles slowed, green sleeves, dancers tired, sand toes dragging. Children fireflies, jars punched, tin lids chasing lightning bugs. Tavern keeper banked hearth coals, ashes, smothering overnight, ready dawn rekindling. Beds, hammocks, slung nails, straw ticks, shaken lumps gone. Stables, horses, munching, hay double blankets, frost protection. Green silent, now sheep folded, barns, bells quiet. Meeting house, dark windows, shuttered tight. Stars brilliant unpolluted overhead constellations named Charles Wain, Pleiades' seven sisters. Tavern slept windows, candles guttered dark. Ordinaries quiet travelers, snoring hammocks slung tight. Village breathed easy gatherings, complete bonds strengthened tomorrow work fields, homes, gardens, turning endless gentle rhythm community, enduring light dark seasons, passing faithful constant. Dawn's gentle labor. Colonial women rose first shadows, still thick hearth coals, banked ashes, night breaths, patient coaxing flames, life iron spiders, positioned coals, salt pork slabs, half-inch thick, sizzling, fat dripping bake kettles, buried rim deep ashes, cornmeal batter, poured pewter pitchers, steaming golden jonna cakes, crusts perfect. Hasty pudding, cornmeal mush boiled overnight, milk, water, molasses, sweetened stirred wooden spoons, pewter bowls. Family gathered sleepy eyes, blinking fire glow, waking slowly rhythm, established generations, mothers, daughters, perfect harmony. Kitchens ruled domain, iron kettles, 30 pounds counterweight cranes, swung smooth heavy pots, pottage, cabbage, turnips, leeks, carrots, layered salt pork, cornmeal thickening, simmered 12 hours, flavored deepening perfect texture, spoons standing thick. Gardens, half-acre cabbages, 20 pounds, heads, onions, leeks, carrots, turnips, peas, beans, pumpkins, sprawling ground herbs, sage, thyme, parsley, dill, fennel, rosemary, lavender, corner, dried winter strings, rafters, moisture-free, fragrant year-round. Apples, cider, 3 gallons, bushel-pressed ladders, hung branches, northern slopes, frost pockets, Spitzenberg, Roxbury, russet varieties, fermented naturally 6% alcohol, safe summer, drinking preventing dysentery. Clothing born hand Saxony wheels, flax, hackled straight linen, shirting 24-count warp-grade wheels, wool distaffs, fluffy Rolags, broadcloth 56 inches, wide looms, 30 feet shuttles, flying 20 picks, minute yards, daily patterns, memorized overshot twills, diaper, weaves summer-winter, check blue, red, counted threads precise. Dyes natural butternut hulls brown, simmering kettles, madder root red, sumac berries, goldenrod yellow, indigo woad, fermented urine, vats, blue, deepest, richest cloth, family pride. Homespun petticoats, linen shifts, pinafores, protecting woolen gowns, saved Sunday, where patched, mended, darning eggs, mushroom-shaped, wool strands woven seamless, matching weave direction, darned invisible perfection. Corsets, 24 whalebone stays, laced tight, supporting spines, hourglass figures, skirts, pleated, falling straight, concealing hoops, panniers, fashionable Philadelphia imports. Mob caps, linen covering hair, dust, sun, bleached summer woolen, winter ear flaps, tied ribbons. Laundry Monday, ritual lye tubs, hardwood ashes, leached straw filters, boiled beef, suet soft, soap pounded battledores, hung lilac bushes, drying iron flat irons, heated hearth coals, spit shined beeswax, turpentine polish gleaming soft. Roller towels, 18 feet, pinned doorways, communal use. 3 months frayed resewn diapers, children, swaddling bands, tight straight spines, first 3 months. Healing hands and herbal wisdom. Midwifery sacred calling, birthing stools. Positioned hearth warmth, comfrey root tea. Soothing contractions, ergot, rye fungus, stalled labor, successful deliveries. Celebrated grog bowls. Past neighbor windowsill, neighbor to neighbor toasts, new life. Herbal remedies, foxglove digitalis. Hard dropsy, willow bark, salicylic, acid, aspirin, precursor headaches, chamomile, colic, Peruvian bark, quinine, ague, 10 grains, dissolved rum mustard plasters, chests drawing blisters, breaking congestion, onion poultices, throats, soothing goose, grease, rubbed chests, coughs. Scurvy prevented sassafras, T vitamin, C wintergreen poultices, joints, rheumatism. Childbirth tears, comfrey, knit, flesh, ergot, controlled bleeding. Smallpox, variolation, cowpox, pus, scratched arms, Lady Mary, Wortley Montague method 1721, inoculation, thread dried nostrils. Dysentery, boiled water, chamomile, peppermint, summer scourge. Preserving abundance. Preserving master perfection, sauerkraut, barrels, cabbage, shredded, salt layered, fists tight. Fermenting lactic bacteria, 6 weeks, tangy winter pottage, pickles, vinegar, maple malt, cucumbers. Dill heads, garlic, mustard seed, spices. Packed tight, sealed, brine, boiled spices, poured hot. Apples, dried slices, raisins, strung rafters, moisture-free pumpkins, boiled pies, maple molasses, jack-o'-lanterns, candles, all hallows, carved faces, glowing porches, scaring evil spirits. Butter crocks, underground spring houses, chilled 45 degrees year-round cheese, wheels, coated paraffin yellow, stored cellars, perfect keeping lard buckets, rendered kettles, cracklings, fried snacks. Lye soap, hardwood ashes, leached straw filters, boiled beef, suet cut bars, Stamp Family Crest Fragrant Clean. Needlework and Community Craft. Needlework Endless Artistry, Samplers, Alphabets, Cross-Stitched Silk, Numbered Canvas Girls. 10 Marking Accomplishments, Framed Gifts Relatives. Mary age 10, Rod 1752. Quilting Bees, 12 Women Frames, Stretched Parlor Windows, Sunburst Log Cabin Patterns, 30 stitches, inch finished quilts, trousseau, auction church funds, raising 5 shillings trousseau, 12 quilts bride. Embroidery silk thread waistcoats, husbands embroidered roses, scrolls, chased repoussé, silver buttons, thread sewn fabric covered bone, carved walrus, ivory coastal. Spinning bees, 8 wheels, clicking rhythm, 12 pounds, yarn day dye vats, butternut sumac indigo, steaming skeins, wound bobbins table. Weaving overshot coverlets, diaper linens, shuttles, flying patterns, memorized, counted threads, precise, 30 feet looms, shuttles, whirring 20 picks, minute yards, daily cloth, family wealth pride. Candles, dipped frames, 60 wicks, 20 times half-inch thickness, tallow rendered beef suet. Simmered 3 hours, Bayberry Luxury, coastal boiled wax, berries fragrant 20 hours, burn 1 shilling, pound molds, pewter 6 candles, cast labor saving. Markets and motherhood. Markets Wednesdays, Saturdays butter, stamped wooden prints, owner identification. 4 pence, pound eggs, straw nests, 4 pence, dozen cheese, paraffin wheels, 10 pounds yellow baskets balanced, heads, walking steady market greens, bargaining shrewd smiles, butter pats, perfect prints, eggs. Clean, unbroken cheese, yellow golden. Courtship, invisible chaperone Sunday, walks meeting house, arms length bundles, miniatures, lockets, profile silhouettes, paper cuts, exchange thimbles, betrothal rings, carved silver. Heart yours forever. Weddings, magistrate homes, minister, knot tying, simple vows, calico, gowns, saved heirlooms, silver buckles, grooms, in fair 3 days. Fiddles, rum punch, dancing barn floors, sanded smooth. Motherhood central cradles, rock pegs, bedposts, linen, swaddling bands, wrap tight straight spines. First 3 months. Wet nurses, colostrum-rich milk. Goat milk substitute, warm pewter bottles, nipple rags, coral necklaces, teething gums, paregoric drops, carefully dosed. Night hearth mending, darning eggs. Wool stockings, whittling spoons, maple burls, gouges, hollowed perfect. Bible reading, psalm, slow tallow candles, 16 burning beta snuffers. Conserving wax, snuffed metal snuffers, charred wicks, collected preventing grease fires. Prayers murmured collective, now lay me down, sleep, I die before wake souls thee, Lord. Beds, rope, webbing tightened keys, turning wooden wedges, taut straw, ticks, shaken lumps, redistributed feather bolsters, prop necks, avoiding crick, quilts, log cabin woolens, salvaged, perfectly stitched. Windows shuttered tight, pintle hinges, wooden latches, dropped foxes, owls, calling deep woods distant. Biphasic sleep first 4 hours, midnight, rising chamber pots, emptied windows, herbal teas, catnip, valerian sleepiness. Returning, second sleep deeper dawn rooster, crowing 4:30 summer, 6 o'clock winter. Community and invisible strength. Discipline community women, stool, repentance, adultery, 6 Sundays. White sheet worn front meeting house, restored good. Standing unanimous forgiveness vote. Dorcas societies visited sick, poor soups, broths, herbal remedies, delivered baskets, balanced head steady steps. Education dame schools, neighboring widows, ABC's New England primer samplers, needlework domestic arts, spinning cooking midwifery service, neighboring farms 3 years learning perfection. Health, wisdom, practical generations, past oral tradition, written recipes, folded letters, across sea daughters, Philadelphia, Boston, learning mother recipes, preserved perfectly. Child illnesses, catnip, tea, colic, goose, grease, onion, syrup, coughs, elderberry, cordial fevers. Strength, invisible, sustaining colonies. Completely yarn, spun cloth, woven food, preserved babies, delivered healed sick gardens. Thriving markets, butter, stamped eggs, nested cheese, golden butter, Crocs, chilled spring houses, herbs, dried fragrant. Grace, everyday hands, calloused, gentle hearts, constant faithful, providing, taking balance, perfect harmony, land, family, community, enduring, strong, simple, beautiful. Women slept sound labors, complete gardens, thriving larders, filled cloth, woven babies, sleeping cradles, peaceful hearths, banked ready dawn, coaxing flames, life, endless, turning light, dark seasons, providing perfectly attuned natural rhythm, sustaining generations complete. Colonial America echoed multiple tongues, blending English settlers, Dutch traders, German farmers, Swedish pioneers, native Algonquian, Iroquois, and Siouan dialects, French Huguenots, Acadian exiles, Spanish explorers, African slaves, Wolof, Mandingo, Igbo voices, each community maintaining language pride, while borrowing practical words, survival, trade, neighborly necessity. English dominated Massachusetts, Virginia, Carolinas, but regional dialects thick, West Country burrs, thee, thou, Yorkshire vowels broad, Scots-Irish Ulster, lil rolling, our Appalachian hollows. Dutch New Netherland, Hudson Valley, New York, retained patois, stoop, front steps, boss master, cookie, small cake collar, neighborhood women gossiping. German Pennsylvania, Dutch Palatine, refugees, Deutsch, preserved High German, Low German dialects, Grubauer. Earth apples, potatoes, Auslaughter, Outlooker barn loft windows, Snitz pie, dried apple pie molasses. Swedish Delaware Valley log house, sauerkraut, Mengelwurzel, fodder beets, architectural lasting influence. Native languages, shaped land intimately. Algonquian, Massachusetts, Wampanoag, Massachusetts. At the Big Hill, Connecticut, Quinnipiac, Potomac, Susquehanna, names rivers forever. Powhatan, Virginia, Chesapeake, Okipa, Buffalo dance, matchcoat, bad meat, spoiled food. Iroquois and Mohawk, Oneida, Seneca, Cayuga, Onondaga, Tuscarora. Haudenosaunee, people, Longhouse, Confederacy, diplomatic, Kenyan, Keha. Coughlin people. Delaware, Lenape, Mincy, Wolf people, Unami, Turtle people, Unalactigo. Turkey people, treaties, land cessions. Trade pigeons, emerged practical necessity. Chingwa, Tobacco, Massachusetts, Wampum-Peak. White beads, necklace value, musquash, muskrat fur, skunk, Narragansett, Pipsisua, wintergreen tea, huckleberry hurrian, raccoon, Algonquian, Arufkin, hand scratches. Delaware, ptarmigan, deer hide, sept, river, wapiti, elk borrowed back English frontiers. French Huguenots, Charleston, New Rochelle, Acadian exiles, Nova Scotia, Louisiana, Cajun, Padua, lanyap, small gift, file, sassafras powder, gumbo, pirogue, dugout canoe, cache, hidden storage, chocho, darling sweet. Spanish Florida, St. Augustine, Caribbean, canoa, barbecue, hurricane, savannah, iguana, tornado, Key Island lagoon, palmetto, palm fronds. African languages, slaves, Wolof, Senegal, Mandingo, Gambia, Igbo, Nigeria, voices, song, field, hollers, call, response, rhythms, gumbo, okra stew, yam, gourd, okra, goober, peanut, juke, disorderly house, voodoo, spirit, zombie, undead, samba, dance, maroon, fugitive community. Gullah Sea Islands, Carolina, Georgia, Creole, French, African English, day clean, dawn, queena, woman, buckra, white man, juju, magic, haggard, or nightmare, witch. Written languages, Bibles, translated vernacular. Eliot Indian Bible 1663, Algonquian, Massachusetts. First Bible printed America, 1,000 copies, wooden press. King James English Geneva Bible margins, Calvin notes, family altars nightly. German Luther Bible Palatine churches, Pennsylvania barns. Dutch State and Verteling Staten Island communities. Schools, bilingual Dame schools, English German Dame, Fräulein teaching ABCs, primer German alphabet books. Grammar schools, Latin Cicero, Universal Cicero. Lingua franca, educated Cicero sentences, parsed accents, ignored unity. Market bargaining polyglot. English, how much butter German. We veal butter, Dutch, hoeveel boter, French, combien beurre, native, how much match it. Hands, gestures, universal coins, weighed scales, Spanish dollars, 8-pence bits. Tavern talk multilingual. English, flip loggerhead, German, beer, Dutch, Genever, gin, French, cognac, native Sakima, sweet cider, African palm wine. Gestures, tankards, raised toasts, mixed tongues, laughter, universal. Court testimony translated. Magistrates, Dutch interpreter, New York. Ja Meneer, German, Pennsylvania. Ja Richter, French Acadian. Oui, Monsieur Jug, native sachems, wampum belts confirming words spoken true. Songs, hymns, multilingual. Psalms, English, Old Hundred, German. Lob den Herren, Dutch. Wilheden Nu Treden, French. Psalm 100, native missionary hymns, Algonquian tunes. Fiddles, universal, Fisher's hornpipe. Leather breeches, contralines, do si, do alamand, steps, identical smiles, universal. Children playground polyglots. Marbles, keepsies, hoops, trundlers, leapfrog, prisoners base. Names English, German, Dutch, laughter, shrieks, universal. Counting rhymes mixed, 1-2 buckle shoe. Eins, zwei, Polise. Ein, twimine, shown. Weddings, multilingual vows. English, love, honor, cherish, German. Lieben Ehren, Dutch, Liefheben Ehren, French, Aimer, honor, native. Heart joined forever. Rings exchanged, feasts, multilingual toasts. Funerals, universal grief. English, ashes dust. German, Staub zu Staub. Dutch, Stoff tot Stoff. Latin, Pulvis et Sinus. Native spirit, great spirit. Graves dug, east-west resurrection facing. Diplomacy, sachems. Wampum, belts, treaties. Onondaga, words, iron chain. English, covenant, friendship. French, alliance, pax. Latin, foetus, paces. Interpreters memorized phrases, perfect fidelity. Medicine, herbal, multilingual. Willow bark, aspirin. English, German, French, native, chamomile, colic, catnip, fever, sassafras, scurvy, Peruvian bark, quinine. Ague, universal. Names, places, permanent. Manhattan, Island Hills, Bronx, Bronxland, Harlem, Coney, Coney Island, Kill, Van Cole, Channel Ship Passage, Brooklyn, Broken Land, Staten Island, all Dutch forever. Night campfires, travelers, English, German, French, native songs, blending harmonies universal. Children, sleeping laps, languages, lullabies, mixed tones, soothing, identical. Stars, overhead constellations, named differently, Charles Wayne, Grocer Wagon, Grande Charrette, Haudenosaurus bear dance, same lights eternal. Languages wove colonies, rich tapestry, English dominant, unifying Dutch, German, French, native African, enriching vocabulary, place, names, food, songs forever. Words borrowed, blended, created uniquely American speech patterns, accents, melodies, rhythms, sustaining diverse peoples, single land, turning light, dark, harmonious, multilingual symphony, generations complete. Midnight countryside, breathe deep hush, unbroken, save distant owl calls, hoot hollows, whippoorwills, liquid notes, meadows, crickets, thermometer chirps, heat, measuring wind, sighing pine branches, soft susurrus, leaves, whispering secrets, ancient trees. Farms, dark windows, shuttered tight oil paper panes, animal membranes, blocking starlight, inside families. Biphasic sleep, first 4 hours, midnight, rising chamber pots, herbal teas, catnip, valerian. Second sleep, dawn, rooster. Crowing 4:30 summer, 6 o'clock winter. Field stubbled corn shocks, standing sentinels, tassels, nodding faint breeze, dewdrops, sparkling moonlight, silver paths, winding stone walls, dry laid fieldstone, snaking property lines, generations enduring. Barn silhouette against starry vault doors, bar tight oxen, cows, snoring haymows, mice rustling straw, golden moonlight shafts, through chinks oak siding. Fireflies blinked Morse code, meadows, pinprick lights, floating lazy arcs, courting dances, synchronized flashes, yellow-green magic. Frogs chorused, spring ponds, peepers, high trill, wood frogs, clucks, bullfrogs, deep bass kettles, bubbling distant marshes, symphony, nocturnal life, conducting moon phases perfect. Forest paths, silver ribbons, moonlight, filtering canopy, dappled patterns, shifting wind, gentle soughing, leaves, beech maples, hickory, oaks, cathedral arches, branches interlaced. Deer grazed clearings, velvet antlers, lifting heads, ears, twitching owl calls, distant fox, yips, vixen cubs, den safety. Owls barred, great horn, silent wings, ghosting mice, meadow voles, field runs, frozen headlights. Raccoons, bandit masks, ringtails, streams, washing crayfish, acorns, methodical paws, moonlight, gleaming wet fur. Possums climbing oaks, prehensile tails, great vines, nocturnal fruit feasts, slow deliberate. Rivers, murmured gravel beds, riffles, sparkling moon path, endless highway, canoes, birch bark. Gliding polemen, shadows, paddle dips, silent rhythm, current carrying downstream villages, sleeping banks. Nocturnal creatures and gentle watchers. Beaver slap, tails, warning pond lodges, underwater tunnels, kits nursing mud-chink domes. Muskrats push lodges, cattail, marshes, swimming velvet for moonlight trails, rippling wakes. Farm dogs, chained dooryards, ears cocked, shadows, moving fields, barking once warning intruders, quieting masters, down boy. Rumble windows, shutter tight. Cats mousing barns, leaping mice, golden eyes, reflecting lantern beams, beta burners, whale oil trimmed wicks, 30 hours quart. Children waking midnight thirst, tiptoeing trundled beds, straw, ticks, rustling parents, sleeping soundly, feather bolsters, propped necks, quilts, log cabin woolens, salvaged, perfectly stitched chests, rising, falling, peaceful rhythm. Hearths, heart farms, coals, breathing oxygen, glowing faint orange beneath gray ash blankets, temperature steady 55 degrees, preventing pipes, freezing draft doors, closed tight, blocking winter winds, 40 below blizzards. Midnight risings, families, chamber pots, emptied windows, shuttered tight herbal teas, catnip, valerian sleepiness, returning, second sleep, deeper dreams, populated Bible stories, harvest, fields, ocean voyages, parents describe childhoods. Loft sleeping children, trundle beds, pulled adults daytime, space-saving, pulled evening crosswise, feet to head breathing, even deep starlight chinks timber walls, painting faces silver, ghostly beautiful innocence perfect. Village night and celestial vault. Village's dark meeting house steeple silhouette against Milky Way band billion stars, unpolluted brilliant overhead constellations. Charles, Wayne Big Dipper Hunter, Orion Pleiades, Seven Sisters, Cassiopeia W, Queen Draco Dragon, circling pole star Polaris navigation fixed eternal. Tavern's dark windows, shuttered tight landladies, snoring upstairs hammocks, slung nails, straw ticks changed, weekly travelers snoring journeys complete. Stables horses munching, hay double blankets, frost protection knickers, soft greeting owls, ghosting rafters, mice scattering shadows. Riverside mills water wheels, still pond levels, low moon paths, endless highways, flatboats, moored landings, ropes coiled pole men, sleeping cabins, holds flour barrels, ballast packed tight. Starlit pastures and phantom lights. Pasture silver dew frost, rhyming grass blades, sparkling diamonds, moonlight oxen silhouettes, heads down grazing hay windrows, cocks protecting dew. Sheep folded barns, bells, quiet woolen backs, rising falling sleep rhythm, perfect shepherds, dogs, watchful circling flocks patient. Willow wisps, marsh lights, foxfire fungi, decaying logs, phosphorescent glow green, mysterious travelers, avoiding bogs, sinking sand, safe paths, memorized generations. Summer nights, crickets, katydids, cicadas, thermometer chorus, measuring heat, whippoorwills, liquid notes, poor will, echoing hollows, fireflies, blinking synchronized dances, yellow-green magic. Spring nights, peepers, shrill, trill, peep, peep, peep. With frogs, clucks, bullfrogs, deep bass kettles, bubbling marsh symphony, courting moon, waxing perfect. Autumn nights, acorns, thudding soft earth windfalls, apples, squirrels, midnight feasts, paw scratches, husks, open nuts, stored winter dens. Winter nights, wind, whistling eve, snow, squeaking boots, post-midnight travelers, snowshoes, Indian web, strung sinew-breaking trails, lanterns, beta burners, swinging yellow pools, snow reflecting bright. Foxfire and phantom lights. Foxfire, marshes, glowing fungi, decaying logs, phosphorescent green, mysterious travelers, avoiding bogs, safe paths, memorized generations, willow wisps, ignis, fatuous fools, fire leading astray. Lightning bugs, jars punched, tin lids, children, firefly hunts, summer nights, chasing blinking lights, mason jars, marvel magic released on wings, whirring meadows. Domestic night scenes. Kitchen tables, cleared trenchers, stacked pewter spoons, polished, whiting powder, waiting dawn hasty, putting boiled overnight milk water molasses, sweetened wooden spoons, stirring perfect. Loom stilled shuttles, resting bobbins, wound moonlight skeins, linen wool waiting hands, Saxony wheels, great wheels, clicking rhythm, 12 pounds yarn day.
Farmers, navigators, constellations, plow, asterism, autumn evenings, guiding furrow, straight rows, perfect. Orion, winter hunter, belt sword, nebula, faint cloud, visible dark skies, perfect. Milky Way river souls, native legend path, great spirit starry highway, endless overhead, eternal navigation, fixed unchanging millennia perfect. Dogs baying moon silver disk, full wolf moon, hunter moon, harvest moon naming cycles perfect. Endless turning of night. Midnight deepened completely now. Farms silent breathing, living entities cradling sleeping families' dreams, populated Bible stories, harvest fields, ocean voyages. Forests alive, rustling, breathing, nocturnal life, symphony, perfect harmony. Rivers murmured, endless patient, carrying midnight dreams downstream, villages, harbors, ships, rocking swells, holds packed tomorrow's voyages, sails furled, waiting dawn tides. Stars wheeled overhead, eternal constellations dancing slow measures, centuries, unchanged, perfect witnesses, lives turning beneath light, dark, endless patient rhythm, nature cradling, colonial world, gentle midnight, hush, complete, peaceful, perfect. Tavern common rooms, sand floors, swept fresh whispers, exchanged flip bowls, steaming loggerhead pokers, glowing red rum, beaten eggs, sugar nutmeg voices, hushed shadows, dancing timber walls. Stamps burdensome parliament, no representation, Boston merchants, non-importation, French Indiamen, tea chests, molasses islands. Murmured tankards, clinking agreement, heads nodding, slow, deliberate. Almanacs, poor Richards, early bed, early rising, healthy, wealthy, wise. Tucked corners alongside gazettes, 8 pages, quarto advertisements, strayed bay mare, white, hindfoot reward, 10 shillings bottom, half news top priority. Letters across sea months delay merchants Philadelphia-London bills, lading tobacco, flour, rum consignments, coded ciphers, numbers, avoiding interception. T50 chests, India man rum 100 gals, French brandy. Governor's reports. Indians restless French, Canada Jesuit intrigue, Albany Congress 1754 plans, Colonial defense, read aloud, candlelight 16 tallow-dipped frames, conserving wax, beta snuffers, charred wicks collected preventing grease fires. Villages, crossroads, dirt roads, 12 feet wide pathmasters, ditch digging, culvert building, stone causeways, creek crossings, whispers, king's men, Portsmouth duties, doubled flour, tobacco, molasses, burdens, merchants' families, heads shaken, slow resignation, cider, 3 pence pint, sipped contemplative foam, clinging mustaches. Market greens, Wednesdays, Saturdays, butter stamped wooden prints, owner identification, 4 pence pound eggs, straw nests, 4 pence dozen cheese, paraffin wheels, 10 pounds, yellow whispers, coins scarce, Spanish dollars, 8 pence, bits hoarded merchants, paper bills worthless. Farmers' corn bushels, cider, 3 gallons, yield bartered, rum, 1 gallon bushel heads together. Taxes, land, quit rents, Virginia, proprietors greedy. Voices, low children playing hoops, trundlers, oblivious, adult cares. Field work, corn hills, knee-high, first laying by, host chopping weeds, rhythmically conversations, drifting wind, sons, Boston printers, pamphlets, Liberty Sons, murmured oxen teams, wooden mold boards turning 12-inch furrows, clay soils, boys 10 driving goads, stick shoulders, walking furrows, pressing firm crust prevention. Church step Sunday dinners, birch bark, pails, Johnny cakes, cider cheese, wheels, men, horse trading whispers, sugar act, molasses islands, French privateers, smuggling necessary survival, women remedies, catnip, tea, colic, mustard, plasters, colds, exchanging glances, knowing husbands, burden taxes families. Post riders and saddlebag secrets. Post riders, saddlebags, leather, waterproof, 30 pounds, letters sorted 10 miles, ordinaries, horses, change, stables, fresh mounts, hay, oats, rubbed, currycombs, riders, memorized descriptions, bay mare, white hindfoot, reward, tens, announcements, pinned doors, whispers. Virginia resolves, Patrick Henry, treasonous, words, fiery, delivered wax, seals, unbroken priority, postmarks, town dates, hand-stamped brass dies. Taverns, post stops, letters, sorted candlelight, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Virginia. Pigeonhole boxes, rented 1 shilling year, voices low. Committees, correspondence, Boston, Massachusetts, spreading unity colonies. Tankards, refilled cider, 3 pence pint foam, settling deliberate sips contemplative. Legal echoes and courtroom whispers. Magistrate courts, log cabins, witnesses, oaths, Bibles, hand, king piece. Murmured Dutch interpreters, New York, Ja Manier, German, Pennsylvania, Jaher Richter, French Acadian, we Monsieur Juke, native sachems, wampum, belts confirming words, true land disputes, quit rents, Virginia proprietors, contested surveys, Red Oak, Walnut Creek, North Bearing, and 60 E40 perches. Tavern trials, local constables, stocks, center green drunks, overnight whipping posts, 13 stripes, adultery, Sabbath breaking, public warning, crowds, silent watching whispers. Judges appointed king, loyalists, justice, bought shillings. Coastal ports, wharves, piled hogsheads, tobacco barrels, flour, tiered pyramids, rope, nets preventing roll sloops, brigs, 40 tons rocked swells, holds packed salt cod, split dried, flakes salted, 18 months, whispers, custom searchers, pistols, powder, horns, boarded sloops, manifests, matching holds, sampling casks, augers, tea chests, French, Indiamen, molasses islands, Boston Tea Party protest. Ship chandlers, canvas bolts, Genoa duck, 24 ounces, square yard, oakum oak fiber, tarred hemp seams, caulking marline, spun yarns, whipping rigging whispers, privateers, commissions, governors, French prizes, sloops, 24-pounders, carronades, swivels, boarding pikes, booty, auction wharves. Coffee houses, merchants, Lloyd's list arrivals, clearances, ship Beaver London 56 days, 200 HHDS tobacco, cleared Lisbon, whispers, insurance policies, underwriters, Lloyd's sloop Mary 40 tons, 500-pound hull, 1,000-pound cargo, Bermuda Triangle, risks excluded. Militia musters and powder horn plans. Militia musters, village greens, training days, red coats, woolen breeches, paraded fifes, drums, Yankee Doodle. Powder salutes, cannon rented 10 shillings, charge muster fields, marked whitewash lines, ranks formed, officers barked, shoulder, arms, present make ready, whispers, brown, best muskets, imported England fowling pieces, squirrel hunting rifles, Jaeger pattern, accurate, 200 yards. Cartridge boxes, inspected flintlock pans, primed powder, horns 30 rounds, whispers, Albany Congress 1754, Colonial defense, French, Canada, threat, unity needed. Election days and polling place pressures. Election days, June 1st, freeholders voting viva voce, names called aloud. John Smith, Constable, ayes 24, nays 3. Candidates treated rum punch flip bowls passed freely. 6-pence gallon results posted. Tavern door tallies chalked slate whispers. Selectmen loyalists favoring king's men. Taxes doubled burdens merchants' families. Church whispers and sermon subtleties. Meeting houses, white clapboard steeples, square bell tower services. Psalm 100 sung a cappella. Make joyful noise, Lord Earth. First line lined out, repeated congregation prayer. 20 minutes kneeling rushes, sown mats whispers. Ministers, Harvard, Yale, trained Latin, Hebrew theology sermons, predestination, perseverance, saints, sins, worldliness, warn, taxes, obedience, king divine, right murmured pews.
Kitchen tables, supper pottage, simmered noon cabbage turnips, leeks, salt pork, layered cornmeal, thickening whispers, Sons, Boston printers, pamphlets, Liberty Sons, taxes, unjust, murmured wooden trenchers, scraped clean, washing 3 oak tubs, lye water rinse, scalding hands, dried roller towels, 18 feet pin doorways, evening hearth, mending, darning eggs, wool stockings, whittling spoons, maple burls, whispers, news, traders, parliament, stamp act burdens, newspapers, Bible reading, psalm, slow tallow candles, snuffed metal snuffers, conserving wax. Harbor hints continue. Pilots bar, conch shells, carved ivory bar, sandbars, shifting tides, marked buoys, kegs, pine tarts, sloops, hail pilot, cutters rode boarding ladders, climbed holds, manifests, inspected whispers, smugglers' necessary survival duties, killing trade. Field work whispers deepen. Corn cultivation waist high, second cultivation, tasseling third. Hose 5 pounds, swung both hands, chopped weeds rhythmically whispers. Land quit rents, Virginia greedy proprietors. Surveys, disputed red oaks, walnut creeks. Oxen teams plowing moldboards, turning furrows. Foot deep clay heavy soils. Tavern plans and ink-dip declarations. Tavern nights, fiddles slowed, green sleeves. Dancers, tired santos, dragging whispers. Committees, correspondence, spreading unity, Boston, Massachusetts, Virginia, Carolina. Flip bowls, emptied loggerhead pokers, cooling tankards, refilled cider, contemplative foam, settling mustaches. Printers' shops, wooden presses, imported England 50 pounds, typecases, lead alloy handcast, 600-hour galleys, lock chases, ink ball sheepskin, printing broadsides, 8 pages, quarto, ink lampblack, boiled linseed oil, paper rag, English whispers, pamphlets, Liberty Sons, treasonous words, fiery Patrick Henry. Nighttime notebook scribbles. Night candle desks, quills, scratched scent, shaken blotting, folded triangles, sealed wax, cooled hard whispers, recorded journals, birch bark covers. Taxes, unjust unity needed. Families, slept cedar chests, trunks letters, promises resistance, forming slow deliberate colonial hearts, minds turning patient light dark whispers, growing louder struggle distant, approaching gentle insistent. Sunset taverns, glowed windows, candles, guttered dark ordinaries, quiet travelers, snoring hammocks, slung tight village, breathed easy whispers, complete bonds strengthening tomorrow, fields, homes, gardens, whispers, growing unity, forming distant struggle, approaching gentle, insistent colonial world, turning light, dark, patient rhythm, hearts, minds, preparing unknown dawn whispers, echoing endless. Colonial kitchens, glowed soft orange hearth coals, banked ashes, breathing oxygen, faint red beneath gray blankets, temperature steady 55 degrees, preventing pipes, freezing draft doors, closed tight, blocking winter winds 40 below blizzards. Families gathered wooden tables, trenchers, scraped clean pewter spoons, polished, whiting powder, stacked neat, waiting dawn hasty, putting boiled overnight milk, water, molasses, sweetened wooden spoons, stirring perfect rhythm, established generations, mothers, daughters, perfect harmony, sustaining lives, simple, beautiful. Women mended darning eggs, mushroom-shaped, wool stockings darned invisible perfection, matching weave direction, whittling spoons, maple burls, gouges, hollowed, smooth, perfect bowls, holding pottage, cabbage, turnips, leeks, salt pork, layered, cornmeal thickening, simmered 12 hours, flavor deepening spoon, standing thick, perfect texture, family pride. Children listened Bible, reading psalm, slow tallow candles, 16 burning beta snuffers, conserving wax, snuffed metal snuffers, charred wicks, collected, preventing grease, fires, murmured prayers, collective. Now lay me down, sleep, I die before wake, souls the Lord. Perfect faith, sustaining trials, joys. Field stretched, endless corn shocks, standing sentinels, tassels, nodding faint breeze, dewdrops, sparkling golden hour sunlight, slanting long shadows, stone walls, dry laid fieldstone, snaking property lines, generations, enduring marking boundaries. Surveys Red Oak Walnut Creek North bearing N60-40 perches, perfect division, land sustaining family self-sufficient. Men stood fences split rails stacked neat. Surveying work tomorrow, plowing earliest dry soil April full moon oxen wooden moldboards, turning 12-inch, furrows clay soils, iron shares, tip cutting roots, boys driving goad stick shoulders, walking furrows, pressing firm crust prevention, perfect rhythm seasons, providing taking balance maintained. Women dooryard sweeping corn husk brooms, chickens scratching dust baskets, kindling thumb-thick sticks, stacked neat hearth, use pausing gazes across meadows golden light, painting grass silver clouds, drifting lazy southern exposure, homes chosen drainage fresh water, avoiding swamps fever steep hills erosion, washing topsoil perfect site selection, sustaining generations. Long gazes across harvest meadows. Harvest memories lingered husking bees, 50 neighbors, barn filled stripping husks, hiders. Red, blue, yellow, awarding kisses. Finders, laughter, rippling rafters, cider barrels. Tabjana cakes, steaming perfect community, bond strengthening, enduring. Cider presses, ladders, apples, bushels, 3 gallons, yield firkins, 8 gallons. Stored cellars, 45 degrees, perfect. Keeping fermented, naturally 6% alcohol, safe summer. Drinking, preventing dysentery, perfect preservation. Wisdom generations, past mothers, daughters, perfect harmony land, providing bountifully. Orchards, northern slopes, frost pockets, grafts, Spitzenberg, Roxbury, russet varieties. Prune, spring buckets, sap spiles, board augers, 30 gallons. 1 pound sugar boiled kettles, evaporators, syrup poured snow, snowballs. Treats children, gathering pails, birch bark funnels, perfect seasonal rhythm, marking time, sun position, leaf colors. Bird migrations, ice thickness, river, flows, perfect attunement, nature, sustaining lives complete. Hearthside contemplations and loom-stilled evenings. Loom-stilled shuttles, resting bobbins, wound moonlight skeins, linen wool, waiting hands, Saxony wheels, great wheels, clicking rhythm, 12 pounds, yarn day dye vats, butternut, sumac, indigo, steaming fragrant perfect cloth family, wealth pride. Sustaining markets, butter, stamped eggs, nested cheese, golden butter crocks, chilled spring houses, herbs, dried fragrant year-round perfect, preserving abundance perfection. Spinning bees, 8 wheels, clicking harmony, 12 pounds, yarn skeins, wound bobbins, table dye vats, steaming finished skeins, perfect color fast, enduring washing light tubs, beaten battledores, lilac bushes, drying iron flat irons, hearth coals, spit shine beeswax, turpentine polish, gleaming soft perfect care, sustaining cloth years, perfect thrift, wisdom generations, learn perfected. Quilting frames, stretched parlor windows, sunburst log cabin patterns, 30 stitches, inch finished, quilts trousseau, auction church funds, raising 5 shillings, 12 quilts, bride trousseau, perfect preparation, life's journey. Sustaining marriages, families, communities, perfect bonds, enduring generations complete. Market memories and community reflections. Markets, Wednesdays, Saturdays, butter, stamped wooden prints, owner identification. 4 pence, pound eggs, straw nests, 4 pence, dozen cheese, paraffin wheels, 10 pounds, yellow baskets balanced, heads, walking steady market greens, bargaining shrewd smiles, butter pats, perfect prints, eggs, clean, unbroken cheese, yellow golden, perfect commerce, sustaining villages, self-sufficient coins, scarce Spanish dollars, hoarded paper bills, worthless bartered goods perfect, economy cycles, providing taking balance, maintained perfectly. Tavern gatherings, sand floors, swept fresh flip bowls, steaming loggerhead pokers, glowing red rum beaten eggs, sugar nutmeg 6, pence bowl conversations, drifting, stamps burdensome parliament representation, heads nodding slow agreement tankards, clinking contemplative foam, settling mustaches, perfect community discourse, strengthening bonds, enduring uncertain times, perfect harmony, diverse voices, English, German, Dutch, French, native African, enriching, sustaining colonies, strong, simple, beautiful. Night deepened reflections, complete families, slept rope beds, tightened keys, straw ticks, shaken feather bolsters, propped quilts, log cabin woolens, perfect warmth windows, shuttered tight pintle hinges, foxes, owls, Collingwood's distant perfect peace, cradling dreams, Bible stories, harvest, fields, ocean voyages, sustaining spirits, perfect, unknowing dawn revolution, whispers, distant, unheard, perfect colonial world, breathing easy, simple, beautiful, complete, drifting slowly, sleep, perfect, peaceful, eternal. Hearth coals, side final breaths beneath gray ash blankets, glowing faint orange, steady 55 degrees, preventing pipes, freezing draft doors, closed tight, blocking winter winds, 40 below blizzards, perfect warmth, sustaining families. Through longest nights, perfect rhythm, established generations, mothers, daughters, perfect harmony land, providing bountifully, taking seasonally balance, maintained perfectly eternal, turning light, dark, complete, peaceful. Beautiful, simple lives, colonial world breathing. Easy youth, unaware history, hurrying distant whispers, unheard perfect peace, reigning complete. Wooden tables, cleared trenchers, stacked pewter spoons, polished, whiting powder neat, waiting dawn hasty, putting boiled overnight milk water molasses, sweetened wooden spoons, stirring perfect rhythm, sustaining mornings, labor's joys, sustaining families, self-sufficient gardens, thriving larders, filled cloth woven babies, sleeping cradles, perfect peace, cradling dreams, Bible stories, harvest, fields, ocean voyages, sustaining spirits, perfect, unknowing dawn, approaching whispers, distant, unheard, perfect colonial. World simple, beautiful, complete, drifting slowly, sleep eternal. Women mended final stitches, darning eggs, mushroom-shaped, wool stockings darned invisible perfection, matching weave direction, whittled spoons, maple burls, gouges, hollowed, smooth, perfect bowls, holding pottage, cabbage, turnips, leeks, salt pork, layered, cornmeal thickening, simmered 12 hours, flavor deepening spoon, standing thick, perfect texture, family pride, sustaining suppers, gatherings, perfect bonds, enduring generations complete. Field silvered moonlight corn shocks, standing sentinels tassels, nodding faint breeze dewdrops, sparkling silver paths, winding stone walls, dry laid field stone, snaking property lines generations, enduring marking boundaries, surveys red oak walnut creek, north bearing N60E40 perches, perfect division land, sustaining families, self-sufficient perfect beauty simple, enduring perfect shelter wind rain, storm generations complete. Barn silhouette, starry vault doors, barred tight oxen cows, snoring hay mouse, mice rustling straw, golden moonlight shafts, chinks, oaks siding, perfect peace, cradling livestock, sustaining labors tomorrow, plowing earliest dry soil, April full moon oxen, wooden moldboards, turning 12-inch, furrows, clay soils, iron shares, tipped cutting roots, perfect rhythm seasons, providing taking balance eternal. Fireflies blinked final dances, meadows, pinprick lights, floating lazy arcs, courting synchronized flashes, yellow-green magic, fading summer nights, perfect symphony nocturnal life, conducting moon phases, perfect harmony nature, sustaining lives, complete drifting slowly sleep eternal. Lofts and trundle beds beckoning. Lofts children trundle beds, pulled adults daytime space-saving, pulled evening crosswise, feet to head breathing, even deep starlight chinks timber walls, painting faces silver, ghostly beautiful innocence, perfect, sustaining dreams, Bible stories, harvest, fields, ocean voyages, perfect, unknowing dawn, approaching whispers, distant, unheard, perfect peace, reigning complete, drifting slowly, sleep eternal. Rope beds, tighten keys, turning wooden wedges, taut straw ticks, shaken lumps, redistributed feather bolsters, propped necks, avoiding crick, quilts, log cabin woolens, salvaged, perfectly stitched chests, rising, falling, peaceful rhythm, perfect warmth, sustaining through nights, turning endless light, dark, eternal patient, sustaining colonial world, simple, beautiful, complete. Windows shuttered tight, pintle hinges, wooden latches dropped, securing foxes, owls, calling deep woods, distant, perfect peace, protecting families, sustaining through nights, turning endless light, dark, eternal, patient rhythm nature, cradling colonial world, gentle, peaceful, complete, drifting slowly sleep, sustaining dreams, perfect, unknowing dawn, approaching whispers, distant, unheard, perfect, colonial world, simple, beautiful, complete. Taverns, dark windows, shuttered tight landladies, snoring upstairs, hammocks, slung nails, straw ticks changed, weekly travelers, snoring journeys, complete, perfect rest, sustaining travelers, tomorrow roads, rivers, binding land, perfect harmony communities, enduring generations complete. Meeting house steeple silhouette, Milky Way billion stars, unpolluted brilliant overhead constellations. Charles, Wayne Big Dipper Hunter, Orion, Pleiades, Seven Sisters, Cassiopeia W, Queen Draco Dragon. Circling poles, star Polaris navigation, fixed eternal perfect witnesses, lives turning beneath perfect peace, sustaining colonial world, simple, beautiful, complete, drifting slowly sleep eternal. Rivers murmuring lullabies. Rivers murmured gravel beds, riffles, sparkling moon path, endless highway, canoes birch bark, gliding polemen shadows, paddle dips, silent rhythm, current carrying downstream villages, sleeping banks, perfect peace, sustaining travel trade, binding communities, perfect harmony, enduring generations, complete drifting slowly, sleep eternal. Beaver slap tails, warning pond lodges, underwater tunnels, kits nursing mudchink, domes, muskrats, push lodges, cattail marshes, swimming velvet for moonlight trails, rippling wakes, perfect nocturnal life, sustaining balance, nature providing taking perfect harmony, eternal turning seasons complete. Final hearthside moments. Hearths, heart farms, coals breathing oxygen, glowing faint orange beneath gray ash blankets, perfect warmth, sustaining through nights, turning endless light, dark eternal patient rhythm, sustaining colonial world gentle peaceful, complete drifting slowly sleep perfect, unknowing dawn, approaching whispers, distant unheard perfect colonial world simple beautiful complete eternal. Prayers and perfect peace. Prayers murmured collective final time. Now lay me down sleep I die before wake souls the Lord, perfect faith, sustaining trials joys perfect obedience, divine providence, guiding lives uncertain futures, perfect trust, sustaining generations, complete drifting slowly sleep eternal sustaining colonial world simple beautiful perfect peace, reigning complete. Drifting into colonial dreams. Family slept sound labors, complete gardens, thriving larders, filled cloth woven babies, sleeping cradles, peaceful perfect harmony, sustaining through nights, turning endless light, dark eternal patient rhythm nature, cradling colonial world gentle peaceful, complete, drifting slowly sleep perfect, unknowing dawn, approaching whispers, distant unheard perfect colonial world simple beautiful complete eternal. Fields breathed sleeping earth corn shocks, standing sentinel protection perfect balance, seasons providing taking sustaining harvests tomorrow, plowing planting cultivating, harvesting perfect cycle eternal turning light dark complete peaceful beautiful simple lives colonial world breathing easy youth, sustaining perfectly. Home sturdy timber, chink clay, moss clabbered, overlapped shingles, steep 45 degrees, shedding snow rain, perfect shelter, sustaining generations. Wind, rain, storm, perfect endurance, beauty, simple, perfect, sustaining families. Complete drifting slowly, sleep eternal. Starlit final reflections. Stars wheeled overhead, eternal constellations, dancing slow measures, centuries, unchanged perfect witnesses, lives turning beneath perfect peace. Sustaining colonial world simple beautiful complete drifting slowly sleep eternal sustaining dreams Bible stories harvest fields ocean voyages perfect unknowing dawn approaching whispers distant unheard perfect colonial world breathing easy youth perfect peace reigning complete drifting slowly sleep eternal perfect fade to colonial rest night deepened completely now farms silent breathing living entities cradling sleeping families dreams populated Bible stories harvest fields, ocean voyages, sustaining spirits, perfect, unknowing dawn, approaching whispers, distant, unheard, perfect, colonial world, simple, beautiful, complete, drifting slowly sleep, eternal, sustaining perfectly. Rivers murmured, endless patient, carrying midnight, dreams, downstream, villages, harbors, ships, rocking swells, holds packed tomorrow's voyages, sails furled, waiting dawn tides, perfect peace, sustaining travel trade, binding communities, perfect harmony, enduring generations, complete drifting slowly sleep eternal sustaining colonial world simple beautiful perfect peace reigning complete drifting slowly sleep eternal perfect peaceful colonial dreams fading gently complete.
Colonial world breathed final easy breath youth unaware history hurrying distant whispers unheard perfect peace reigning complete drifting slowly sleep eternal sustaining simple beautiful lives perfect harmony land providing taking balance maintain generations complete turning light dark endless patient rhythm sustaining perfectly eternal colonial world fading gently sleep welcoming arms perfect peaceful eternal dreams colonial lives complete beautiful simple perfect